got myself 3 scripts just before this. So that boosted me up.
That's always nice, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, I don't know if people will notice this today.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. But we've got a bunch of stuff on the table.
Yeah, lots of knickknacks.
So we've got the Power
Sports,
Power Sports.
Handlebar Performance.
Yeah. And then we've got the VO merch.
Yeah.
Mike Hathcote.
Our friend Mike Hathcote.
So those are online. He takes care of things in the Mazomania area.
Aaron does.
Power
Sports. These are some of your accolades. They're not, they kind of look like Oscars, don't they?
Kind of. Yeah, they aren't though, are they? They're,
well, of course not.
I was going through some of my stuff and getting rid of some stuff. But these are my 3 oldest trophies, and they happen to be some of my biggest ones. This is punt, pass, and kick when I was 10 years old. It was the area punt, pass, and kick. I was, or for 8 years old.
Yeah,
I was the number 1 boy. Well, there weren't girls back then in it, but here, and then this was 3rd place for number 9 and 1st place for age 10.
You were a big kid. You were a big kid growing up.
I was a big kid. I think there was a couple things going for me. One, a lot of kids back then, they were tradesmen's kids and farmers' kids, and their dads they didn't play a lot of sports. My dad did play a lot of sports, even though he was a cheesemaker and then a UPS driver. But he played sports, and I went with him, and so he played catch with me a lot. So I was big, and then I also was fairly skilled, if you will, not compared to today probably. But anyway, I won those, and instead of throwing them away, I was just going to put them here.
So those aren't Oscars.
They aren't Oscars. They're punt, pass, and kick for this area. And we're going to have Ryan on.
Yeah, I showed him the
today.
Thing right away.
Okay,
picture.
And he also he gave us these sweatshirts,
merchandise. This is the reason that we actually started our podcast was actually just to get free clothing from people. That's actually why we started it.
Yeah, exactly.
We were short on clothes, and we thought, let's start this and we'll just exactly.
Other things he gave us is this handy kitchen measurements.
Does it go on your fridge? Is it a magnet?
Yep. And then you got like 1 cup equals 8 ounces equals 16 teaspoons or teaspoons.
I'm the worst with that stuff.
This is handy.
Yeah, that is.
And then he gave us these little clippy things here too.
Oh, nice.
And they all have, put on sandwich bags or put on their
chips.
Chips or different things like that. So that's nice.
That was really nice
Ryan,
of him.
And he'll be here today.
He will be here. So we've got him for our interview.
Yeah.
Local interview.
Yep.
And then we've got your Todd's tips. It's do's and don'ts again. You'll get into that later. And we've also got the couch potatoes and numbers with VOMP. We've got a whole bunch of things going on today.
I forgot about this.
True.
This thing here.
We've got a new development here. Dad came up with something.
Yep. And what it is it's a coupon from the Father-Son podcast.
You can show it to this one if you want. This camera right here, Dad.
You guys see this?
There you go.
There you go. That's cool.
One coupon
to our Father-Son podcast guest, special local guest prize table. And it's just off over here.
Yep.
And so
Amelia
Ryan's going to be the
watching
first.
Over it.
Ryan's going to be the first one to get it and get a choice. And then we had like William and BJ, and we had
Scott Johannick,
Scott Moore. And
Jeff and Mel
and
Kathy and Cal.
Kathy. And so if you're watching and you were a local guest here and you want to come back, we owe you. Give you this.
It's an IOU.
You can go to the prize table and go over and get whatever we have over there at that point.
We'll try to cater it towards your likes.
Yeah. So just hit us up for that. Stop by. We'll take a picture with this and your prize, and we'll be good to go.
All right, great. Let's get into our 23rd episode.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
back to the original father-son voiceover podcast. It's me, it's my dad, and this is our 23rd episode. We've got a whole host of things like we talked about before. We won't bore you with more of the details. We tend to rehash things a lot when we're talking about, which is fine. It keeps our memory jogged and everything like that. But why don't what we do is start off with Todd's tips for our 23rd episode.
Sounds good. And we've been going over some do's and don'ts for maybe the last 7 or 8 episodes. And I'm just going to keep sharing those because they're fairly short. And I think they're worthy for you to think about as a voiceover talent running your own business. Maybe they're principles for just any entrepreneur or a small business owner. And Demond is putting here the caveats that I always do as I lead into these, simply because you do your business your way, I'm going to do it my way. But there are some supra business principles that everybody needs to do. And some of these things are things that maybe, especially as voiceover talent, I think this one would be one that I learned. I employ it all the time, and it's very valuable. It's helped me make a lot of money, more money than I would have made had I not employed it. So here's my do. I do ask my clients for their budget. Now, just as a caveat to that, there are some people that use a rate guide like the GVAA rate guide or the SAGA AFTRA rate guide, and they won't fudge on it. That's fine if that's the way you want to do it. I happen to be more working with clients over the last 12 or so years that are okay kind of going back and forth with their budgets. Sometimes I work with the same client and they might have multiple size budgets for different clients, for their end client. And so they always appreciate the fact that I'm willing to flex a little bit
Sure.
To meet their needs. So I do ask my clients for their budgets. My good friend and VO talent, VO career coach, and VOMP client,
Voice
and
of our
voice of our
podcast.
podcast, Bill DeWees. He said this on a free YouTube video many, many years ago. And it's a little trick that I do all the time, as much as I can. I always remember it. Most of you have heard this. Some of you employ it, and you probably do it yourself. If a client approaches you with a project and asks you to quote it, which a lot of people do these days. Oh, I got a 2-minute explainer video. What would it cost me? I've got a 10-minute e-learning project. What would you quote? Those types of things. My best practice is something that I do, and it's this. I say something like, thanks for the chance to quote this project. I can certainly provide a flexible quote based on what I would typically charge, but do you already have a budget in mind?
Smart.
So unless they say, this is our budget, or we saw your rate guide and we want to use the specific rates, then that's what I get back with them about. And you do that too.
Yes,
right?
but maybe you're going to go into that. Why do you do that?
Yeah.
Why do you leave that open end?
Yeah.
Maybe it's obvious to everybody,
No.
but it wasn't to me when I first started.
Yeah. And again, it might be to a lot of the folks that either watch this regularly or watch Bill DeWees or employ this. I'll just say this. Once in a while, I'm surprised that the client comes back with a quote lower than I expected.
Sure.
But 9 out of 10 times, and I mean this, 9 out of 10 times, what I was going to quote, either from my standard rate sheet or just something, what's fair? What do I normally, what have I heard other people? I try to keep that in mind, and then I throw out a quote, and guess what? 9 out of 10 times, their quote is higher than what I would have, and that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Because if they have something in mind, then I want to know what they have in mind. And they ask sometimes just because I think they're trying to be fair with us. And so I'll oftentimes just ask back. So here's an illustration real quickly. This week I did 9 very short tags for a regular client. He asked what my price would be. I popped the, what is your budget question? Hoping to get $250. That's what I was hoping to get. I thought
all 9 tags?
Yep. Yeah, they were very short. I did them in like 10, 15 minutes. And I thought, well, based on what we normally do for other commercials, I'm going to ask a little more, and I'm going to ask for $250. He came back with a I'm thinking between 600 and 750. Is that fair? And I said, yeah, I think that's fair. So I quoted him 600 because I thought, why am I going to go for the whole thing?
I'll go on the low end of
Yeah, I'm serious because he's a good client. And I thought, I'm not going to, try to get the most out of him. He's giving me a range of what they're thinking. And so I took the 600, which was, again, $350 more than I thought. Just like that. And that happens a lot. Now, what's going to happen, I know this is going to happen. Somebody's going to try that.
And they're going to
say, they're going to say, you're either going to go out there and they're going to say, hey, Todd tries this and he just made $350. I'm going to try it. I'm going to say, what was your budget? And I'm thinking, 400. Well, we were thinking 325. Well, you can always go back and you can say, well, I typically get, but it's harder to go up than it is to go down. And
you don't want to lose a chance to get that job. If you're somebody who's like me, and that's what I was going to say, is I've had that happen where the person's honest with you and they say, well, we're in a smaller market, or we don't have a lot of money for this budget. For me, I'm looking to just work. And yeah, it would be nice to have more, but in that situation, if they do end up shooting lower than what you were planning on, who cares? That's at least how I am. I'm like, I'll just do it. If I was thinking $200 and it's $100, well, I'll probably just do it because I'd rather be working, make some money than say, well, I would normally get $200 for this, and then be like, oh, well, he's, that's too much. We're going to go find somebody else. Then you lose it altogether, and you maybe lose a client. I don't know. To me, if you're in my situation and you want to work, you might want to, take that lower ball offer and have maybe someone who gives you consistent work.
Yeah. Have you found, you haven't had that many opportunities to quote jobs, but have you found that it's worked sometimes, or has it worked against you sometimes?
Well, like I said, most of the time it works in your favor. I mostly, if they ask for a quote and stuff like that, unless they ask me specifically, do you have a rate sheet? Can you send me your rate sheet? Then I'll send my rate sheet that I have. But if they say, what would you quote for this? Or what's this? I'll almost always get back with what you said. I appreciate the, the offer to be able to audition for this or whatever it is. I'd be happy to give you a quote, but does your client have a budget already set aside or a budget in mind? Just in case, just in case you get a little extra. So.
Yeah, so that's what I employ, that little strategy. Going back when somebody says, can you quote this? I just say, do you have a budget? Now, just two little warnings. First, don't go overboard. Don't do lots of back and forth. Like if they say, could you quote this? And you say, well, do you have a budget? And they get back and they say, well, kind of had something in mind. You could say, maybe. Well, what was that? A lot of times I'll say this. I'll say, if you have a budget, then I'm fine, or I can provide you a flexible budget. So just let me know what works best. So I offer to do a quote if they want to. So it doesn't get awkward because it's like, you're going to show your cards. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to show mine. No, you're going to show yours. So don't go overboard. And if they refer to your standard rate sheet, in other words, they have that on file, or they've asked you to send it and they say, give me a quote, then that's something you need to just follow through. You can say, well, my rate guide says X amount, but maybe you have maybe you want me to flex either way. I've had people do that before. Yeah, no, we've got more in the budget than that. So great. Yeah. Sometimes they say, can you be just a little flexible and knock $100 off or whatever? So those are just some things to think about. So I do ask my clients for their budget.
Well, Johnny's here. You guys want to do our numbers for the week? John, let's start out with VO Marketing Pro.
VO Marketing Pro. Hey, VO Marketing Pro. VO Marketing Pro. You guys didn't know we had our own
chant.
Jingle.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. So this week
we don't.
We're reporting because we're actually able to do it on Friday. We're reporting last Friday, the 26th, if my math is correct.
Because we recorded on Thursday, so we didn't get to add
schedule
Friday's
constraints.
Numbers. Yep.
Yeah.
I guess. So this is Friday to Friday, not
Saturday.
Yeah, I guess Saturday.
Basically.
So it's one extra day that we're counting for. So we had 38 warm replies.
Good.
13 auditions and 6 jobs. Jake Phillips, Randy Scott from a recurring client that he keeps on getting jobs from. Gold.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Marketing Pro.
By the way,
Marketing Pro.
I commented on it and I said something.
And it's his anniversary, I think, today.
It is 17th. I'm glad you reminded me. Hey, Randy.
Happy anniversary
and wife.
to you.
Nice. 17 years.
And
Stuck
wife.
it out.
Sorry.
I can't remember her first name either.
We call
Mrs. Scott, I think she goes by.
Yes.
Randy and Mrs. Scott, our apologies.
Yes.
We got to get it right. We got to
Gotta
do
get
better.
Okay. So we wouldn't have had to out ourselves, but we're such honest people because all we would have needed to do is have a picture of him and he and his wife's name.
Yeah.
But dumb me.
It's better this way because now Randy can
make
get
fun
mad
of
at
us
you.
and
Yeah.
his wife could be
we
mad.
actually call him, and I did it for the first time. We have a little nickname that we have for Randy Scott.
Randall
Von Scottmon, and I put it on there.
Little
I
inside
put it in
baseball there.
Little inside baseball.
Did he
I don't
get
know.
mad at you?
No, I
Okay.
did it.
Not yet.
I just put it. I just
He's
commented underneath.
He's a
it.
pretty
nice
funny
guy.
guy himself.
Yeah, he's a
and
nice
got
guy.
he's a really nice guy. We like working with him.
So anyway,
We like him
congratulations.
so much we don't know his wife's name.
Congratulations on your. I know it's their 17th.
Yep.
Because they had a picture
hope
on
so.
Facebook. I'm a friend on Facebook, and it's an actual drawing of
sketch.
them. A sketch. Yeah.
Yep. So Randy
Sorry.
Scott got one
Good,
from
Randy.
a recurring.
Yep.
Reoccurring.
Gold.
And then Jennifer times 2.
Which
Jennifer White. My
Jennifer
bad.
White.
Yep, because we have a couple Jennifers.
Jennifer White.
And then Jennifer Keister got one.
Keister.
Wow.
This was as of Friday of last week. And then our friend Todd Haskell. Well, they're all our friends, but I just wanted to end it with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So anyway, what we did find out is today we did a little bit more of a test to make sure that people were getting the emails, not that we're overly concerned about it, but just we do say on the Thursday update emails, we sent it out on Friday because we were pretty busy yesterday and it got pushed to today. So Joe sent that out to everybody and they just asked them to please respond either way. And I think we got most responses. We do know that this is going into a long weekend for us, Labor Day weekend. So there's a fair amount of people gone. I think we even saw a couple people on Facebook that are on vacation. So I don't expect them to respond. But what we found out from one specific person, and I won't name their name because it's not a big deal if we're not putting anybody down. People are busy or whatever. But that they've gotten several jobs from a company and didn't know for sure if they were supposed to be reporting that.
You mean recurring jobs?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. We want
And
that.
so anyway, that's good news.
That is good news.
Again, that's why we say this is what we report on Friday evening or Friday afternoons or on our Friday update. The reason why maybe that is a headache, and we understand you have busy lives, so don't beat yourself up if you don't send them in. But we do that for a couple reasons. One, we just want to make sure that it's nice to report that to show that it's working. Because it's nice for us to know that that's what's happening, especially those recurring things. People keep on saying how nice those are when they get those, because they're not. Most of the time, they're not just like $100 jobs; they're far more. But also, it does help us with your database. Helps us make sure we don't send out to those people again. And so, if you could just do your best you can with reporting those things, that would be great. We're not gonna come after you, but it's good to know. It's good to know that that's happening, and it's two. It is we are asking for any jobs that you receive, whether they're new or recurring. Just
VOMP.
It's nice to know. It's nice to know for our statistics. It's nice to know for your database, and it's just nice to.
It's also
hear
nice
those
for
things.
our little VOMP community we have because,
Yes,
like we said,
encouraging.
it encourages us as a business to keep saying, "Great, what we're doing is working. That's awesome." But then it also for people who maybe are just starting or people who have been in it for a little while, maybe they're not getting as much success as somebody else, but they see somebody else as getting that success and say, "Okay, this is obviously working," and it's good to be able to show that, for that person, whoever it was, maybe they haven't been on the thing a lot, and it's kind of nice to see your name on there. I'll admit.
To the encouragement part is some of these, what we're seeing with these numbers with people that are getting multiple jobs is it's paying easily for their monthly payment with just one person. And that's really, you've said that multiple times, Dad, but it takes one, maybe two clients at a time to start building that so that it's not just necessarily that you're going to get a bunch of these people coming back to you every single time. You're going to narrow it down, but you might have somebody that gives you $1,000 a month by just one client, and they're going to stick with you for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's what we see. That's what's great to see success too. It's not just from all these different video production companies, might be one, and that can make a big difference. And it's encouraging to those people that first starting out with us, or that have been with us even for a little while, that aren't seeing the ROI on things, the return on investment. They're not necessarily seeing that in their minds, but it just takes one, and it takes sticking with it. And I've said it many, many times, but this person is somebody that's been with us for quite some time now, and they're seeing that success. And it might not be an upfront ROI, but you just need one or two to get that ROI back. And that's what we're hoping to help you do. And we're really working hard at we've talked about it, not necessarily becoming a bigger and bigger company, but a company that's small and focused on the people that we have, so that we can really prove that we're successful, and that this works, and that we can help you become successful. So that's what we're working on, and our goal is for VOMP. So
Yeah, I mean, if you have a few clients that you get from direct email marketing. I remember the first year that I decided, in 2016, I decided to hire Andy, my assistant. And I remember thinking, I hope this pays off. And I remember I kept track. And I remember the first time I spend over between $12,000 and $15,000 a year on direct email marketing. I remember that first year when I got that $12,000 to match what I paid him. It was early on in the year. I mean, it was like April or May. And it was like, it paid off. Mm-hmm. Now everything after this is gravy. Mm-hmm. And now this last year I had $180,000 in direct email marketing, and I'm paying between 12 and 15. That's a great ROI, but you have to, I will guarantee that if you stay in this, whether you do it yourself or we do it, or you do a hybrid, which we encourage, very strongly, we encourage you, if you have some time, even if we're doing it for you, to make sure you are doing it, especially targeted things like maybe you like medical narration, or you like e-learning, or you like imaging, or anything. Go ahead and go after those yourself, and let VO Marketing Pro do it every single week, every single month.
Yep.
And as the days and weeks and months and even years go by, your ROI will grow and grow and grow. And I know you'll look back like I do now and say, no brainer. Sorry. I mean, how hard is it to spend $12,000 to $13,000 and get back 180? Not bad.
It would be for me. It would be for me right now. That's it. That's just being honest.
Right, but you have more time.
I do.
So you do it yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what we encourage.
Exactly.
If you have more time than money, do it yourself. If you have more money than time, you should still be doing it yourself if you have any time. You know what I mean? If you have any time, do it yourself, because it will pay off. It just will. Yep. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just going to mention one other quick thing while it's on my mind. You also had a gal talk about some things that she wanted to talk with you guys about, the VOMP team. And we offer this over and over and over again. If you have questions or concerns about your direct email marketing, contact us. We're doing everything we can, but if you have thoughts or suggestions, we want to hear those, and we'll do whatever we can. And one of the things we do offer is, if people want to get together with a Zoom meeting with me, and we can just talk over your business, we can talk over what you're doing, we can talk over a hybrid approach, the template, what I've done, all these different things we can do. And as of right now, that's for VOMP, that's free of charge. So you feel free to take advantage of that. I'll schedule you as quickly as I can.
Yep. Sounds good.
Little commercial.
Nice.
Yeah. It's great.
This week I had 10 warm responses, 1 audition, which I have to go and do after this. And then I had myself, looks like I had 4 scripts. I got 1 earlier this week, and then I got 3 right before we started doing the podcast. So that was really nice. I would have only had $298 this week. Instead, I've got $598 made. So that's my $500 mark, just to make Dad happy.
Yep. That's what we're shooting for all the time.
So
$100 a day.
Yep. And then I did a couple jobs on Fiverr, and like I said, for a grand total of $598.
I'm glad to hear that.
I was too.
Yep. And someday you'll be making $1,000 and you'll be saying, oh, I made $200 a day this week.
Yeah.
And then you'll be going up from there.
Sure.
For my numbers, I had one new client, and that's the first in 3 weeks. So it happens with me too. It's not like I just get.
Was that 31 this month?
It's 31 this year. So I'm averaging just under one per week, which with what's going on, I think in our world, I think I'm still pretty happy with that. I had 2 warm responses, several auditions. My platforms were 2,248. It was up this week, so that was kind of nice. Mainly Fiverr, $2,248. My direct email marketing, $3,689.81. I was just under $6,000, $5,937.81. $5,937.81. And just again, a reminder, you guys want me to give my numbers for transparency, but also to say that this works. If you'll just hang in there, just be patient, persevere, and
Be persistent.
be persistent, and it'll pay off.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying them.
You are. You're doing fine. So are the VOMP folks. Just
sure
keep
are.
going.
All right. Next up, we have got our fun segment. We've got a little bit of a new twist to it. But Drew will be here. John will be here. I'll be here. Dad will be here. Joe will be here. And we will be doing probably this day in history and I would think some special holidays.
Yep.
But
I would
there's
think
going to be
so.
a new twist. So stay tuned.
Hey there, I'm Demond, and you are watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Oh, just for me.
We have been having anywhere from 150 to over 200 views,
Oh, that's awesome.
which isn't too bad. I mean, it's not, it's not like some podcasters that have millions or so.
Wow, you get some of the celebrity stuff and
Yeah,
it almost drives.
yeah.
Because I listen to a lot of I love racing, so I get to listen to a lot of the Dale Jr. stuff.
Okay,
He's got
yeah.
millions and millions and millions,
Yeah.
But that just his name alone draws, starts at $1 million.
Yeah,
just on
right.
his name.
Yeah,
alone,
if you put that in in like the tagline or whatever it is,
yeah,
you're going to get lots of different things. I actually went to, Alan from the baseball team. We went to see him. His dad runs a farm, 310 acres.
okay,
And we camped and went fishing on a river that they live right next to. And his younger brother does stock car racing
down by Darlington.
in Iowa.
Okay,
And so we
Over
went,
by Decorah, I think.
yeah.
Northwest Iowa, yeah.
and so we went to that, Drew and I, and that was pretty wild. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it was exciting. I've seen some racing on TV, and I'm not that interested in it. I believe it's a sport because of the endurance and reflexes, all the stuff you have to have. But boy, I tell you, I felt like I was racing for that first race that I saw his brother. I was just, you're into it. It's
a lot more exciting when you know somebody in there.
Yeah.
If you're just sit down and watch a race, you don't really have anybody to root for. You don't have any storylines. It's like your football, basically. It doesn't matter. There's storylines behind everything. Home talent baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love home talent baseball. A lot more interesting when I know who's there. You've got connection of some sort, or that makes it a lot more exciting. That's what I guess draws me to that part of it. Is I know a lot of people around the country that do it. That I've raced with guys that race professionally now. So it's
You
kind of
did
cool.
racing?
I didn't race myself, mechanic wise.
Oh, okay.
So, actually, Travis Quapple, he's retired now, but his son just won a big race down in North Carolina this week. We raced with him, and he was one of them kind of guys. If you were having an issue with something, you go over and talk to Travis. Oh, here, didn't Travis try this spring? Try this. That's kind of the community. That's what's really cool about that. And then, funny story, it was the COVID era, and we were in Waterloo doing Em was playing a basketball game, and they had the new school built, and I come walking out of the gymnasium to go to the concession stand, and there's a whole, I don't know, must have been 25 people from Waterloo standing there. And walking away, I get about halfway to the concession stand. Hey, Ripper. What? Because that's more of a, I turn around, and it was, I'm on the spot. Greg Ebert. So Greg Ebert, he was a mechanic up here. We raced against it with him, however you want to say it. But he actually went down south, and he was a car chief, which is basically the head shop mechanic for Richard Childress Racing, who Dale Earnhardt used to drive for. And then basically it's a very taxing, 7 days a week, 365. So the family life really suffers, quote unquote, they understand that that's their life. But so he's about my age, and he finally said, you know what, I've had enough. They actually won the last race that he car chiefed, and he went home.
Wow.
So it's kind of a neat story with him too.
Those guys that do the mechanics on like those races, you'll watch them, especially the Indy.
Yeah.
When they pop off there and they got to get the tires off. Talk about athletic.
Most of those guys are ex-college football players.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
it used
amazing.
to be just,
Yeah.
whatever hillbillies like we are around here. Any of us yahoos that would want to help will help.
Yeah.
But now it's become such a time sensitive. I mean, every tenth of a second matters. And they've actually have, in a lot of the big outfits, have a training facility, physical training facility, just for their pit crews.
Wow.
And it's insane.
I would never guess that.
They are actually serious athletes. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
it's on hand-eye coordination. Think about it. Hitting a round ball with a round ball with a round bat is tough.
Yeah.
That hand-eye coordination. Hitting them. Oops, sorry, I'm banging things.
You're okay.
Hitting lug nuts and things like that in a high-pressure situation with cars buzzing past you. Take some concentration, man.
Yeah.
Tires flying around. If you don't do what you're supposed to, I'm sure
pretty
there's
cool stuff.
consequences to that.
Well, maybe what we do is just welcome people into our already started conversation.
we've already
'cause
started,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Sort
That's
of
fine.
hijack
Yeah.
it.
No, that's fine.
So what we've got here is we've got Ryan VanRiper.
Yep.
Ripper, as we like to call him. That's his nickname here. That's how everybody knows him here. And he is a small business owner.
Yep.
Ryan, would you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So I own RVR services, and we do basically our main function is carpet cleaning.
Okay.
We also do tile and grout cleaning. We power wash houses, parking garages, stuff like that as well. Do some upholstery cleaning. So basically, in a nutshell, it's a cleaning service. And our lion's share of our work comes with carpet, and that's kind of a commonality with this profession. But there are other branches of it that we do. Some of it, I get a lot of people ask about duct cleaning, and we don't do duct cleaning, but we do have, we also network with people, so we refer, right? I've got a lot of people I refer out for the duct cleaning or the house cleaning, like janitorial housekeeping type cleaning or different things like that, or plumbers, electricians, so it's kind of a neat network there, and then we work back and forth with each other. So, so that's basically, been doing it about almost 10 years now and kind of enjoy it.
But you've well, let me ask you a follow-up question about that. Do you kind of work in a radius? I mean, you guys don't like go to North Carolina or Texas. You just do it in a day type trip situation.
Usually, efficiency-wise and cost-wise, I like to keep it within a half hour, 45 minutes. Out here where we live, a half hour, 45 minutes is quite a ways. You talk to some people that live in like Indianapolis. A half an hour in Indianapolis is like driving to Black Earth.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
sure, because of the traffic.
It's, they go by miles, we go by minutes when we get out in the sticks. So, I get out, Dodgeville, Lone Rock is usually like the western front. And then I'll get to Madison, not a lot in Madison, a lot of the west side stuff. Do have some customers there, Mount Horeb, New Glarus, Baraboo, once in a while to the Dells. So that kind of radius there. So it's about 40, 45 minutes is about my max.
We have we're small business owners. I am. Hudson has his own business. We have another business, and you are too. And just this last summer, you and I were talking, and it's just kind of funny how you're doing something totally different than I am. Sure. And yet you're a small business owner, and there were some things that you were telling me that I could relate to. And, you're kind of, I mean, I don't know, do you have like an assistant that takes care of scheduling and stuff like that, or do you just kind of triage things as they come in?
Kind of do it all.
Yeah.
Kind of do it on my own, but the beauty is with my wife, she's very detail oriented, which I am not. When it comes to the book work and stuff, I'm like, it's close enough, Or what's terrible with me, and I'm terrible with billing, right? She's like, if it's late, if it hits 30 days, I know them guys, they'll pay. I might have been born 50 years too late because back in the day, nowadays, if it's not right on time, we're up, emails and phone calls and text messages, and so it's nice on that side because she takes care of that, like the sales tax stuff, which I know I could do. But she's like, oh, I'll just take it to work and do it on my break. It's no big, she enjoys that
that's nice.
clerical side of it.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
She's been amazing. But
Yeah.
help wise, I got the kids in the summertime, my kids. But I try to schedule myself nowadays to what I know I can comfortably do in a day without, killing yourself. And there are long days. There's days you get, overbook. But for the most part, I try to, I've done it long enough where I know what it should take time-wise and energy wise, and say, this is where I want to be. I don't need to be a bazillionaire at this.
Are you the only person who works for your business? Or do you have other people that you employ that do the same thing that you do?
No, I'm the owner operator and the janitor and everything else. But I do have a good friend of mine who also owns a carpet cleaning business. He's actually from the area, but he lives down between Mount Horeb and New Glarus now. We happen to, there's all kinds of different Facebook groups, and we're in a carpet cleaning group, and he's a young guy. He's probably about your age, Huddy, and he had carpal tunnel surgery at early 20s.
Wow.
He had some issues, and he had said something, and, being local, I didn't know him, but local is, if you need anything, let me know. So we actually met up one morning for breakfast up in Mount Horeb, and we've been great friends ever since. When we get a big job where it's going to take more equipment or more people or whatever, him and I usually, and he's the same boat I am. He's the only guy.
Nice.
So we help each other out here and there on some of the bigger stuff. And so it's nice to make those connections. So you don't necessarily need to keep someone on payroll either, because that gets hectic and headachy too, because I always feel obligated to make sure your bills are paid if you're working for me. So I got to make sure I have enough work to keep you busy.
Sure.
So that was one of my biggest stressors when I had employees was, everybody looks at all the other stuff, but my biggest concern is your people, right? If your people aren't happy or making any money, they're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that you have a tendency to think about as a small business owner is getting bigger. And you talked with me about that, and you just kind of made a decision. I'm not going to get 3 trucks and 12 employees. And that was a decision you made. Are you as busy as you want to be? Or do we need to say, hey, Ryan, he'll come and do because we can do that with this podcast, but we don't want to overwhelm you. Not that we have tens of thousands of people watching where all of a sudden you're just going to have to hire a whole bunch of people. But I mean, you're open to taking new clients on all the time? Okay.
Absolutely. And
so you do carpet cleaning, you name them again.
Tile and grout.
Tile and grout cleaning.
Yep.
Okay.
Upholstery cleaning.
Cleaning. Yeah.
Stuff.
Curtains too and stuff, or
I
not?
don't do curtains.
Okay, so
not.
just furniture type.
Yeah, basically
things.
furniture.
Okay.
And then exterior wise, we'll do like washing houses.
Got it.
We do we do a soft wash technique, which isn't high pressure. Decks, driveways,
Oh, nice.
things like that.
Yeah.
And then on the commercial side of it, we'll do like exteriors of buildings, parking garages, things like that. And that, I don't do as much of the big commercial washing anymore because it does take extra manpower. Not that you couldn't do it by yourself, but sometimes it gets a little bit much to try to get anything done.
Yeah.
So, but I won't turn it down. At least I'll go look at it. And if it's something I can't do, I'll say, look, Todd, that's more than what we can handle.
Yeah. So we can put his...
Yeah, where can people find you? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yep.
Do you have a website?
Yep, we got rvrservices.com.
Okay.
Or
There's the
RVR.
phone number too.
Yeah, RVR. I can't remember my own website. Yeah.
608-516-4699.
Yep. And then you can find us under RVR Services on Facebook.
Okay.
For our Facebook page. I'm not real active on that stuff. Honestly, and back to I don't like sitting at a desk thing. That's
sure.
my biggest problem is I don't think I've touched my website in years, but it does have on the contact page. I do have a setup where, you're looking for an estimate on carpet cleaning. You can click that, and then so I get a lot of emails.
Okay, so
from
email
customers.
and phone call would probably be the best way to get a hold of you.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's usually the best way. I kind of implemented something about a year ago. I don't answer my phone when I'm during the working part of the day, and my message actually says, leave a message. I will call you back after 3:00, because too many times I was driving down the road and someone calls like, yeah, no problem. Yep, I can do that on the 5th. Yeah, like I can look at my schedule on my phone as I'm driving, which doesn't sound very safe.
Yeah.
As long as the law's not watching. And then lo and behold, here comes the 7th, and I get a phone call. You still coming today? And
oh no,
not obviously nothing intentional, but you get going, and that might have happened at 9 a.m, and you know how your day takes you. All of a sudden, you get done and completely space it. So to alleviate that problem, I don't call you back unless I'm sitting at the desk, so I can schedule you, I can get all your numbers you need, and also give you the attention you deserve, right? You know, if I'm driving down the road trying to find a place to, and I'm talking on the phone, I'm not really paying attention to what you're saying either. So I think it's more important. And very, very, very few people have had any issue with that. And as long as you call them back, some people are antsy. I get it. They want to answer right now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably not my customer.
Yeah.
Because that's not the people I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah. That makes sense to me, what you're saying. Not only is it safe for you and you're not in jail and or in the hospital, but your people get the attention they deserve.
Right.
And that's the biggest part of it. So your wife's name is Carrie.
Yep.
And then you have two son and a daughter, right?
Yes.
And
Emily is a senior this year.
Oh, she's a senior.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm getting old.
Yeah.
And then Braden's a sophomore. So both big into their athletics.
And what do they do?
Volleyball, basketball, softball, and then Braden is football, basketball, baseball.
Nice.
So you got a football game tonight.
Yes.
Elkhorn, is it?
Elkhorn, yes.
Yeah.
At home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be
That's
good.
nice.
I don't know how it'll go this year. I know last year they just pounded them.
Yeah.
So,
What position does your son play?
defensive end and tight end.
And does he get to play quite a bit?
They haven't played yet this year.
Oh, that's right.
So
They
we'll
got
find
their
out.
last game.
None of them have
canceled.
played.
Yeah, they got their last game
Yeah.
canceled. Okay.
He's only a sophomore, so I don't
Yeah.
know how much he'll play or not.
Yeah.
But might actually be honest with you, he hasn't played in the last 2 years. He didn't play his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
8th grade was a 2020 COVID thing.
Sure.
So I believe the last time he played was 7th grade. And he's not a very aggressive, rough and tumble kind of kid.
Mhm.
He's always been more of a shy.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'3", loves basketball. Get him in the post and he's soft. So I told him this up. My goal is for you to go just in practice and get banged around, beat up, and realize that
Sure.
pain's temporary.
Yeah.
So when it comes to basketball time and you're in there fighting in the post,
You're
Be
used to
minor
it.
compared to the football.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's it's part of growing up. It's that age.
Yeah.
Hitting puberty, just kind of getting over the fear of everything. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, never mind, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah. I didn't like hitting people, and I played 1 year and I was done. I mean, we weren't very good. All of us were on the JV team as freshmen, and we were small, and we played against teams like Lakeside, who were all juniors basically, and it's like
Yeah.
they're
That's
ready to
tough.
kill you and licking their chops, and you're sitting there like, I don't know if I want to tackle this guy or not, and so got a little bit better at the end, but I was I'm done. I'll stick to baseball and basketball.
Yeah. And it's, Emily loves her sports, right? She would play, if you guys have a pickup game up here in the driveway and she's walking by, hey, you want to play? She'll jump right in, right? She's just that competitive kind of kid. She'll fight with not fight with, but compete with anybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Braden's like, meh. He's just kind of a whole hum, relaxed, doesn't get too worked up about nothing.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Although, I've had relatives and friends that were that way, and then all of a sudden a switch turned on, and it's like, get up. Demond is that way. Demond was fairly passive in high school. He was underskilled. He was immature just as a physical person, and he's becoming a terror. And he's fast. He jumps.
He's a bullet.
And it's just like, ugh. Now it's scary. And so I say, okay, go back to the way you were.
now we don't have to
maybe
worry about
someday the switch will turn on and he'll all of a sudden, be an animal. So you never know.
And I've seen it slowly turning, right? He's the most, it's funny because Carrie and I will, you guys actually don't have to talk. I could talk for the next 2 hours. I love it. I can babble on. Emily's the same way. Carrie's Braden.
Quiet, huh?
Hi, Braden. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We like, and some of the stuff actually, and I don't know if it's society today and their phones and all this stuff, but like you go to order something, like, what do you want for lunch? We stop at, say, McDonald's, cheeseburger. Like, talk to her. She's asking, not me. Like that kind of thing. We're like, we'll stop at the Shack once in a while and grab a burger.
Yeah.
Brenda that works over there, nicest lady in the world. She could chat with anybody too. What do you need, Braden? A cheeseburger. Just talk to her.
Sure,
She's not going to
yeah.
hurt you. So but he's kind of coming out of that shell finally, starting to talk a little more and be a little more confident.
Maybe you should talk to our youngest, Deshaun, because like when we go to Culver's or something, he just always orders whoever is in front of him.
Oh, really?
I'll just have the same thing he has.
Yep.
That's
Yeah. So he could
order
go to
this one
school.
the
Right.
same way. Yeah.
So you got to do is figure out something he doesn't like. And order that.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he'll look at you. I'm never going after you again.
So
That's
you
fabulous.
just switching gears here just a minute. You live. I won't tell exactly where you live, but you live in Mazo, and your mother's maiden name was Ricky.
Correct.
Yeah, and so I think that it was. Were there two? Did she have a sister?
Two of them.
Two of them.
Yep.
I think there was, along with the Fry girls. I think
Around the corner from you guys.
I think they lived. I think they babysat when we first moved out on Derby Road.
Oh, really?
For us, yep.
Okay.
Because they lived in the farm where Beals live now.
Yep.
And then your grandparents, Peg and Marvin, built the house that you live in.
1992.
Right.
Yep.
1992.
1992.
Yeah. And did you get that right from them then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Backstory on that, 92-ish, they sold the south side of the farm, which back in those days, the farm was 25 acres.
Yeah.
But they sold that to Marty and Sue. And then they built the house where I live now. And then obviously I grew up across the field, just down the street from your folks.
Yep.
And then so what they basically plotted that hayfield off there that where I live now into sections for the family. And then some built, some didn't, blah, blah, blah. And then both my grandparents passed away 2008-ish. Both had cancer. Grandpa was sick first. And Grandma took really good care of him, which she always did. And then, so he passed away. It was obviously a sad day, but it was one of those days like, it happens. Old, he was suffering. Good for him, good for his soul, if you will. And Grandma was like, this is great. Now I don't have to take care of him. I can go and I don't have to worry about Grandpa's, blah, blah. And it is no kidding. And maybe, so that was November, I believe it was. February, I'm out hunting. Get a call from my mom. Grandma's got lung cancer. Serious? So that spring, they were doing treatment and okay, we're good to go. So then that summer, we were up north ATVing, me and the wife and a few other people. I got a phone call that my Aunt Linda and Emily, my daughter, walked in and Grandma was standing in the kitchen kind of confused looking. And she boiled a pot completely dry. My grandma was one of the best cooks you ever met in your life. I mean, if it was canned, if it was cooked, awesome. Well, I had a brain tumor, so she passed away. So their anniversary of bless me, Grandma, if I'm wrong, but it is in October. Grandpa passed away in November. Grandma passed away before they missed another anniversary. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How that works?
Yeah.
I mean, but so anyway, not to get too down on a Friday, but we had purchased the plate for the house from the family then. That's how that worked out.
I see.
So
Yeah. So you've lived there since
2008.
2008. So, okay.
Yeah.
So there's always been a family member in that home. Your Uncle Doug.
Yep.
He and I and Tracy Kresge,
Tracy up on
just
the
up the
hill.
road. You know Tracy?
Oh, yeah.
We spent a lot of time. They're 2 years older than I am, but I was a fairly big kid, so they would always invite me, and we'd play quarterback, receiver, defender on the front lawn there of your grandpa and grandma's house.
Sure.
And play, just the three of us.
Perfectly built boy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep,
So there's a lot of. I was looking forward to hearing because sometimes when you have a different last name, you forget. Oh yeah, he's related, and like Cole.
Yep.
And
Dylan.
They're your
second cousin.
Second cousin.
Their dad is my cousin, Craig.
Oh, okay, cousin. Got it. All right.
So it'd be my mom and Craig's mom or dad were brother and sister.
Okay.
And we all still live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess kind of like up here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda like
Yeah,
line.
everybody's related.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I tell people when they move here or come and talk, you got to be careful who you talk about, even these days, because I'm still finding out, she was he was, oh, wow, so.
Everybody's related to Barses.
Yeah. In some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just had one more
Yeah.
question. How did you get into doing what you do, your services, the carpet cleaning? How did you get into that? Did you see an advertising? You're like, this radius doesn't have anything like this. I need to do this. Or how did you get into it?
I got into it by accident. So the RVR Services is a surname or whatever you want to call it, because the actual registered business name is RVR Electronics Restoration. So my wife works in insurance. She is a claims adjuster. So if you have a hail damage, she's the one that approves or disapproves, whatever, So she works with a lot of different restoration companies and different people in that field. And I got to know one of the guys that ran a restoration company, and we were talking about stuff, and we actually used to have a huge 4th of July party out at the house. And he had stopped out, and he was wandering around my shop. He's like, man, you got a lot of stuff out here. He was fixing stuff. I'm like, I'm always fixing something or welding something or, building who knows what. And so he starts talking to me about this electronics restoration. And I had a regular job at the time. I'll get really back into that story, but I really am not a good employee. I love my job and I love the guys I work for. I'm still really close to the guys I used to work for. Do a lot of work for them, actually. But I like to, walk to my own drum beat, right? Or whatever, however you say that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, okay, this piques my interest. What do you got going on here? Well, what it ended up being, we went and got certified in it. So like if you have, say, a house fire, kitchen fire, let's put it that way, and it fills the house with smoke. Well, all the stuff in here that's electronic gets infiltrated with the soot.
Yeah.
So what we would do is we would go in and pack everything up, haul it back to the shop, take it all apart, clean it,
Wow.
test it, store it, and then when all your restoration work in your home was done, we'd bring it back to you. Paid really well, but it was really hit or miss. So, I mean, there'd be $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 jobs, but it might be every 3 months, which isn't terrible. And then sometimes so the worst part of the year is the wintertime because everybody's inside, more lights are on, more opportunity. But the problem is it's kind of hard to solicit firework, work like that because it might turn into, you might be accused of arson, right?
Yeah.
Jokingly, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I had since quit my job and was doing this full time, and it was hit or miss, and we were making decent money, and life was okay. And I thought, there's got to be something to bridge those gaps, right? Just something to kind of help out. So I was sitting on the back porch talking to my mom and my stepdad, and my stepdad's brother had owned a carpet cleaning company. He says, well, I think his name was Jim, I can't remember, but Uncle Jim had all this equipment, blah, 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 he wanted to get rid of. Or they want to get rid of it, blah, blah. He was in a nursing home at the time. His son was getting rid of it. Why don't you go take a look at it? Okay. So I went over there. It was old stuff. Like, this is probably 2015-ish, 2013, somewhere in there. And this stuff was like mid-90s equipment, right? Now, I'm very mechanically inclined. I can fix about anything. But for the right price, I'd buy it, Take a chance on anything. So I was talking to this guy's son, and I said, it was 2 vans, the equipment. It had been sitting for quite a while, so it needed a lot of maintenance, a lot of re-engineering almost. But anyway, we got to have for it. I says, $500. I said, no, for everything. I said, the vans, everything you got goes $500. Well, at the time, scrap price was high.
Yeah.
So thought, heck, if it don't work, I'll take it to the scrapyard and get my $500 back.
Yeah.
So anyway, drug it home. Started puttering with it. I didn't even know how to clean a carpet. I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't know anything. Thought, all right, well, this John Don out of Illinois, they're actually a nationwide company, but they do training seminars. So I thought, I'll take a carpet cleaning training seminar. So I did that, and all right, this kind of looks neat. And so I went back, started puttering with stuff and fixing things and applying this, try it out at my house and try it out at my, everybody's a guinea pig, right, at the time. While we're still doing the electronics thing. And the first business I had that failed, I knew nothing about business. I was a really good concrete finisher, and but I knew nothing. And I was 25, 26.
Sure.
So I thought, this time I'm going to invest in some education. So I went down and it was $1,500, took a week-long class down there at this John Don. And it was strategies for success. And it talked very little about the cleaning, but a whole lot about the business.
Yeah, right.
Of retaining customers, of all that kind of stuff like that, and employees and different ideas and marketing and da. And it changed the way I looked at business, rather than just work, make dollars.
Yes, right.
How do you make it easier? How do you sell your value? Am I more expensive than some people? Sure. Am I cheaper than some people? I'm sure I am. But my value is X, Y, or Z. And I'm going to be able to sell you that value. Mm-hmm. So it was really neat. So anyway, so long story short then, it kind of started there, and I knocked on some doors, and it just started, ramping up, and got to the point where I don't have time to do the electronics restoration. And then I ended up hiring, I bought 2 trucks eventually and had 6 employees at one time. Well, 4 full-time guys and a couple part-time, but, and yeah, it was just mind-boggling. Just like I said, so it was kind of actually, honestly, by accident.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I'll try it out.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, here you are.
Interesting, yeah. Do you want to? We gotta stop here for a second.
Yep.
For some reason, these things, but we can come back and do a quick "Would you rather?"
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
All right.
We won't keep you long.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all right, guys. No problem at all. Like I said, I could babble all day long.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, thinking about back to the neighborhood with your folks and me and Jason and James Rogers and
Are
hang
you
out
about
in
their
there.
age?
James and I were in the same class. James is the reason I graduated high school.
Oh, really?
Yep. But yeah, we used to, the Sea Boys.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be so much fun down there.
Yeah.
And now you look around down there, there's a lot of kids, young kids, they're never out of their house.
Yeah.
We got kickballed over that field wall, this driveway now, but between your folks and C's, and James and Jason and I were always out in the creek doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nowadays you don't see that.
There was a lot of fun little places, the creek and Railroad Bridge.
Too much electronics going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, too much of that stuff going on.
So we were going to just do this. Maybe we can welcome back. Is that what you want to do?
Well, whatever's
back,
fine. We can start right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just this, and then one other little thing for you, Ryan, and then we'll be done here. So here we do this with our local guests all the time. Would you rathers? And here it is. Would you rather never brush your teeth or never brush your hair again? Would you rather never brush your teeth or never brush your hair? If you want to answer it, or you can answer it. Hudson doesn't have to.
I do the hair thing anyway because I can't stand not brushing my teeth. But I don't ever keep much hair to brush. So I just very, very rare that I would brush my hair as it is. Unless Carrie's taking me somewhere fancy.
Yeah, I should have probably had
a
woman guest maybe or something.
I don't need to brush my hair.
Yeah.
What's up with it?
You got something on your head.
Is
it black?
Forehead.
It's probably from this.
Oh, a new sweatshirt.
From the new sweatshirt.
Your
I've been
RVR service.
I've been finding them all over me.
That's what you get.
No, it's rubbing off.
Stuffy head.
No, brush my teeth easily. I would let myself brush my teeth because I don't have hair.
Yeah.
I'm going to brush
And
my
you
scalp.
keep your hair short, and
Yeah,
and
so
I
I
try to
wouldn't-
keep mine short.
I could keep.
Did you only have one?
Yeah, I did, but
okay.
I'm trying to think who would choose not brushing their teeth, and would I want to hang around with that person? Because I wouldn't want to be married to a person that didn't brush.
No.
I'd rather have Becky not brush her hair, and I'd much rather have all you boys not brush your hair than your teeth. It's like that just
I don't
seems
know
like
that
a
I
simple
could-
one.
Yeah, I
But
don't
maybe
know.
there are people out there that don't care about that.
In this day and age, I don't know who, but
Not around here.
So Ryan was nice enough to bring us these
Yes, yep.
shirts here. Well, these sweatshirts.
T-shirts.
And then he brought this T-shirt, which the boys are going to wear on our fun part. There's this.
Oh.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And now these were things that I looked in real quickly, Ryan, and I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting. So these are like
a chip clip or a
chip clip,
hanger.
or you can put them on like your.
It's
does
got
this
a,
have
it's got
a
a, yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's got a-
magnet, yeah.
magnet
Hang
that you
stuff
can
up.
hang stuff on your
Fridge.
fridge or little
all your
thing
takeout
here.
menus and stuff that you don't
And then
look through.
this was something I thought, well, I'm just not sure. But then I started thinking about this. I need one of these all the time when I'm cooking.
That's
it's like I need
precisely
one of
why
these
I
all
have
the
them.
time.
I need it all the time.
I saw that somewhere, and I can't remember where, and so I made those. You're all right. So I made those
that's
up as
really doing well. There you go.
There it is.
See that? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I made those up, and I it's funny because I handed them out. For all of my bigger commercial accounts, I usually take gift baskets around Christmas time, and I had a bunch of I put them in there, and the big outfit I used to do work for, she calls and says, "Hey, more of them? We love these things."
Yeah.
So we had bought a whole stack of them because I used to always do like Badger and Packer
Schedules.
Yeah. Which are great because they hang on there till it's over with. But the point of the point of the marketing is impressions.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason for that ever to come off your mind.
Handy kitchen measurements.
Right. So that'll sit on there all the time. And you see you don't necessarily look at the RVR, but you see it, right? It just keeps burning that impression in your mind.
It's true.
And so everybody cooks. I love to cook, and you're forever trying to break something down. Like, how many is in this?
And nobody remembers for the breakdown, like you said. Nobody.
No, we're always doing that. Look it up on the internet. How many ounces in a cup? We're always doing that, and this is just there. So here's the thing. So you gave us 2 of those. So one of those is going on our refrigerator, and then you gave us a bunch of these. And if you don't mind, we're starting something new today.
Yeah. Okay.
And it is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast coupon.
There you go.
And what you get, every guest gets it, and it's redeemable. And here's the backstory on this one. I won't bore you, but I was going to get treats from the Dollar General here in Mazo, but it's been closed for 3 days.
Yes, it has.
So it's like I keep going to check, and every time I pull in, about 4 other people pull in because they think it's open now. And so I do the same thing. Oh, there's cars there. So I go and I pull in. When is it going to be open?
I don't know.
Okay, we won't get off on that. But this is your coupon, and we do have our little store or guest
prize table.
It's right over there. See what's on there? You get to choose one. I do happen to see you with Mountain Dew once in a while, so I hope we bought the right kind.
We wanted to pick
So I'll give
like.
you this. That's yours.
Thanks, boss.
And
That's
then
awesome.
I'm going to put, if you don't mind, and you can say no, but I was going to keep a couple of these, and then I was going to put these as prizes for people.
Oh,
When we have other guests.
We got to keep that. We got to keep the thing for the kitchen though. That's
Oh yeah.
I'll bring you one up, throw it down into your guys'
I got
place.
one for the
I'm sure you
kitchen.
boys all cook real well down there.
Yeah,
they're
I
down here
actually
most
do.
of the time. So,
Thank God mom and dad ain't too far away.
call us out there.
so thank you for being on. Don't forget, folks, to check the links because
RVRservices.com, correct?
Yeah, and we do this we do your interview and what's happening in Mazo on the Facebook.
RVR-services.
Services. Right here, Demond.
Yep. And so we're going to leave in just a moment. Ryan gets to pick out something from our huge guest table. Don't pick out an RVR Services.
That's rotten.
And we're going to get a picture of you so we can flash it on that if you don't mind.
Yeah, you bet.
So thank you
That was
very
so much
much.
fun, guys.
Appreciate
That was a
it.
great time.
Yeah.
Love to chat.
Local guests of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast get a coupon towards the FSVP prize table and your choice of a valuable take-home gift. Congratulations and thanks for being a guest on the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
We may do an entire segment before Joe shows up. It's possible.
So it's
We had a lot on our plate this afternoon.
He goes by his own time.
it should be no surprise to anybody if you're a person that you can go back in the archives and watch all of the rest of these that we've already done. Or you can just take this, listen to this. It's no.
Sit down or no?
Oh, you're going to sit here?
Well,
Yeah, that's right. Which one do you want to go? I'll sit in the middle,
Sounds good. You're just sitting in.
right in the middle.
Yeah.
And then Joe Bobby can sit here when he gets here.
Can you hear me at all?
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me fine?
You
Am I just
sound
like-
a little bit further away.
Am I just like
but not
Dad?
bad.
Or
No,
what?
no.
How about that? Am I good?
Always good.
Dad talks like this.
I project because I did a lot of teaching and coaching and stuff. Anyway, if you can either watch all the other podcasts, or which is fine, we'd be glad for people to do that, or you can take my word for it. And here's the thing: originally, on the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast, it was just Hudson and I, and we tried to get couch potatoes, you two guys.
Yep.
And we finally, it didn't take very long, not long convincing.
It was like 4 episodes.
Yeah, and you guys came on, and that just
Turbocharged.
put it way up there. Then we talked a while about Joe Bobby getting on the show. Well, I guess we did have Mom on a couple of times, one with an interview, and then we had Demond. He was actually up here the first few weeks switching cameras and stuff, our audio visual person. So we got him on. Hey, Joe.
Oh, nice jersey. Show that to the camera.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Try the other one. The other camera.
camera.
There you go.
I'll try the other camera.
There you go. Show the people what they want to see. It's Joe's jersey.
So then we finally got Joe Bob up here, which he's a crowd favorite now.
Yep.
I mean, people
think, yeah.
are constantly saying
Thank you.
that.
They're commenting and
Podcast has just started.
they've
now.
subscribed to just Joe.
So the person that we haven't gotten up here yet, and we keep kind of coaxing him, cajoling him, is Deshaun, our youngest, and he's been on his 4-wheeler when he makes noise downstairs, but he hasn't been on. But today he said to me, "Dad, why don't you wear my boots on?"
Wow.
So these are Deshaun's
It's a
boots.
part of him.
And he, yep. And
He's
so
getting
this
closer.
is representing Deshaun here on the original Father-Son podcast with his boots.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice.
There you have
And
it.
Joe Bob has, I was digging through some of my old bins to throw some things away. And this is my old college basketball. Before 23 was a big time.
You started it.
Well, I don't know about that. I doubt
Jordan
it.
wore it because of you.
No.
Oh.
But nevertheless, I didn't like it. I wanted like 45 or something, like 44, 45. But that's my college from school. And those are my punt, pass, and kick things.
I talked about that.
I know. I just was telling people because maybe they didn't watch the first part.
Well, they're gonna get a second helping.
Dad
of
likes
that.
to talk about his accolades. He said he was saying that because he wanted to make sure that if people didn't watch right away, but he likes to talk about
Himself
a lot.
Would you like to wear this? Or should we just lay this right here like this?
It's
This is
already-
our
Is that
other,
an XL like
our
mine?
guest, yeah.
Kind of swimming in
Oh, and
little
it's
bit.
a large.
Oh, it's a
a
large,
large,
okay.
actually. Ryan VanRiper.
Yep.
Services.
That's my third yawn already in this. I think in this spot in this segment. I'm
So
keeping
if
track.
you want to wear this, or are you just going to want me to drape it here?
That's perfect.
okay. Because he was our
Alright.
guest.
We're cutting Dad's meanderings off right here, and we're gonna get right into, because we've got a lot of stuff going on here. We've got this day in history, Drew.
We've got some of that, but we're gonna get out of the gate with Labor Day facts because
Okay,
we have begun the Labor Day weekend.
True.
Labor
All right.
Day is Monday.
let's.
Don't we have... Sorry.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm.
Oh, you're gonna-
So we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
That there.
Okay.
That there, and then we've got some things. We talked about a twist that we're putting on it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. Joe's got some stuff.
A twist on the
We doing
Labor
that
Day
first,
facts?
or
No.
Nope. So what? Okay, let's start over. Drew's got some stuff for us.
so we're doing that first.
Don't
Drew's got some
question
stuff
me,
for
Gordy.
us, and
That's
then
Hudson.
and then
Do
per
not
Dad.
question him.
No, this is for Dad because Dad wanted this. It's Dad's request. Dad has some interesting things that were some interesting happenings that are going on in Mazo.
Yep.
And then also kind of the
Can we
the-
give the podcast the full attention here?
We are.
I don't
and then
know.
we've got and then
This is
we-
for the
and
podcast.
then-
It's for the podcast.
Just hey,
Man,
just
I tell you,
stick to
Well,
your lane.
come prepared then next
Stay in
time.
your lane. Stay in your lane.
We'll stick to your lane.
we need a mute button for some people. But anyway, then Joe has some happenings for Wisconsin Heights. Since he's part of that, we had Scott Moore.
That's true.
We're gonna have some more small town
Community.
happenings after that. Okay, so you got to watch the time. You tell me when. We're at
5 minutes.
29 minutes. and then we'll.
I'll just do this. I'll go.
Nice. All right.
You know what that's from?
An Andy Griffith reference. Opie, yeah. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Anyway, all
So
right.
but I'll just give you a little look, like we're getting real close.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we could just walk over, turn those babies off,
Yep.
turn them back on.
Okay.
People won't even know we were gone.
Let's do it.
So we've got some Labor Day facts, hot out of the gate with some Labor Day facts, and then we've got some This Day in History, September 2nd, which is today. It's just a Friday today. Labor Day is not until Monday. It's the first Monday in September is Labor Day. Okay, so the first Labor Day celebration was September 5th, 1882 in New York City. Now, I was reading a little bit on this site that I was on, and it says that was the very first Labor Day celebration, but I don't really know if it wasn't recognized at that point. So I'm not really sure how they can say, but that was the event that led to the creation of Labor Day. So on that Tuesday, that's September 5th in 1882 in New York City, 10,000 citizens marched for labor rights down the streets of Manhattan. During this time, the average American worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
It wasn't until the Adamson Act passed on September 3rd, 1916, that our modern 8-hour work day was established. So 12 hours a day for 6 days a week.
You know why they went to an 8-hour? Why 8-hour? Why? Any idea? Think about it.
It's an even number.
It's an even number, but it's
Oh, so it's 12.
8 hours for working,
8 hours for
8
sleeping.
hours for sleeping, 8 hours for yourself,
pleasure.
your family,
For
and
pleasure.
That's why they went with that.
You know that?
I don't know. I mean, that's
What
my
makes sense
my
to you.
sources. That's some people. So I just read that somewhere. But why didn't they stick to Tuesday? Because see, if they would have stuck to Tuesday, you might get Monday and Tuesday off.
Oh, true.
What do you think
Too
about
bad.
that?
I really wish they would have been thinking of that in 1882 when they were just simply thinking about trying to not
Not a
have to work
12-hour day
12
yeah,
hours
in a
6
coal mine or something.
I don't
like
think
that.
they were
Factory.
thinking about getting an extra day off.
Then they took away Saturdays from them, too. You know what I'm saying? Because they were working 6 days a week, and they cut back 6 days to 5 days, and then they cut also the hours.
That's so true. Yep, that's true.
Okay, there you go.
100% true on that one. We
That's
got
another
two
one.
people with similar names are credited with that first New York City event, the one that took place in 1882. Matthew McGuire, spelled Maguire, a machinist, and Peter McGuire, Mcguire, a carpenter, have been linked to the 1882 parade. The men were from rival unions. Ooh. That's how it started. They were just going to go and fight each other.
On a
Hey,
Monday.
but we want the same things.
And they said, okay.
We can be on the same team.
In 2011, Linda Stinson, a former U.S. Department of Labor's historian, which I don't know why they would need to have an historian for that specific thing, but that's
We
all right.
wouldn't know now if it wasn't for her.
But I would think any historian could do that. I don't know why the U.S. Department of Labor has to have a specific historian. Anyway, this is what Linda Stinson said. She didn't know which man should be credited. So she put both of them. She credited both of them, partially because people over the years confused them because of their similar sounding names. No, Linda, those are the exact sounding names. Because unless one of them was McGuire, if they went with the MC,
Maybe it was Mike McGuire.
there you go. But I think that's how you pronounce. You pronounce them both McGuire, correct?
I would
The
think.
MC. It's the MAC sometimes that's McGuire.
McGuire.
Anyway, that's what Linda, the U.S. Department of Labor's historian, said.
Nice of her.
Yep. Here's some more Labor Day facts. Grover Cleveland helped make Labor Day a national holiday. So, see, it took a little while. After violence related to the Pullman Railroad strike, President Cleveland and lawmakers in Washington wanted a federal holiday to celebrate labor or to make sure that nobody remembered the violence. And not a holiday celebrated on May 1st because apparently May Day is another, it's a more globally recognized.
Which shouldn't
We'll
be
hear about
called
that
that
later.
because it makes it sound like That's not good. May Day.
May Day, call for help.
I got a question. This just came to my mind. Do people who don't have jobs celebrate Labor Day? Because
I think they're off.
but they're off anyway. Every day's Labor Day for them.
I think
It's kind of a union thing.
Yeah,
It's
I think
kind
they
of
do that in honor of the people that are working.
Right.
You know, they don't want to
wanna be
stand
a part
out,
of
so
it.
they just off that day too, like kids and stuff like that. I mean, schools get off, of course, and
School is
government. Just about everybody. Doesn't everybody basically, other than essential workers,
Yeah,
they're not
voiceover
getting,
talent?
True, but they're not getting. They've already got the day off. So do people who work come off from? They don't work on Labor Day. The people that don't have jobs, that's the one day a year that they work.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's how it should be.
When I was a
Where
kid,
they
I
work,
always
they don't
thought
have a
Labor
job.
Day. When I was a kid, I always thought Labor Day was working around the house. It was a Labor Day. It was a day off of work to labor because that's what my folks
Chores.
usually did. We did chores around there just before the fall.
Yeah. I mean, so retail, people in the medical field, I guess that makes up 6% of the working force. So they don't have off.
Okay.
Because a lot of times there's retail,
Wow, you had
retail
that,
stores.
You had that in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Good thing I asked that question.
Hey, can I just stop you for just a second?
Yeah, no problem.
I want everybody to know on the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast that Joe is interested, but he's also going to be interesting.
Yep.
He's interested
He's
and
preparing something.
He's preparing something. He's doing research and development right now.
Yeah, which I would be doing over there.
Right. So he's not disinterested.
No.
Which is
It looks like he's disinterested. It looks like he's just playing on his phone, but he's not. He's actually researching something for later.
Yep.
So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. What a perfect time to do it than right now.
during
What a
the
better
podcast.
time. Okay, so let's get back to Grover Cleveland here, who made Labor Day a national holiday. Cleveland signed an act in 1894 establishing the federal holiday. Most states had already passed laws establishing a Labor Day holiday by that point. So we're a little behind again. The federal government's a little bit behind there. So it was approved on June 28th, 1894. So it was obviously
Seems like that's their motto.
Yeah. The holiday is often confused with May Day, which I've never been confused with Labor Day and May Day. But I'm not from another country, so most other countries celebrate International Workers' Day or May Day instead of Labor Day. The concept is the same, but it is celebrated on May 1st around the globe. So,
I guess we wanted our own.
yeah, I don't know which one was first.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. But I've never been confused by. I didn't even know May Day was a thing for. I guess I got to get out a little bit.
Probably smart.
Probably smart. Labor Day is the second most dangerous holiday weekend to drive on U.S. highways. Here's a little stat about that. It's a little bit of an old one, but I'm sure it probably still applies. There were 308 casualties over Labor Day weekend between 2011 and 2015, following closely behind Memorial's Day, 312 casualties that they had. These particular holidays designate the beginning and ending of summer, where excitement is heightened and young people tend to be more reckless on the road. So it sounds like accidents.
Well, we're going to stay home, us young people, this weekend.
Do you think that people do a lot of what you did, which you had Thursday off from your day job? You had today off, Friday. You got Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And do you have Tuesday off as well?
No, I don't.
You don't.
You wanted me to.
Okay, but
wanted to throw
do
that
a
in
lot of people
wild.
do that? That's the question. I bet a lot of people do that, don't they? Extend it.
Not voiceover people, though.
No, I understand that. We're always on
I don't know. I mean, recently, like I would say the last month or so, I've seen a lot of offices throughout,
Yeah.
for a whole week,
Yeah.
for a couple days leading up to the end of the week. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything on that.
You sure take advantage of it, though.
I like to bookend.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it gets you, feels like a couple extra days right before. You can have one on the house.
That's
Have
how I think
have a holiday. Have one on the house here. And I
Yeah.
say, yes, please. I'll take another. Here we go. The holiday, Labor Day we're talking about. also symbolizes other endings and beginnings. Labor Day is the unofficial end of summer. So panic time for a lot of Midwesterners.
Yeah.
And, which is kind of interesting, it's the end of hot dog season. I didn't know this. I was having hot dogs in December. I should not have been doing that.
Does that mean if the police catch you eating hot dogs past that time, you could get in trouble? Because like if you go fishing when it's not open season for
safe
fishing or
bet
hunting.
that you're not going to get in trouble having a hot dog out of season. But it is also the beginning of the NFL season. Almost every NFL kickoff game has started the weekend after Labor Day, which is true. So we go right into that, kind of a hot dog related one. Labor Day is the unofficial end of hot dog season. The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, again, I think we talked about this before. Not sure why they need to.
Who's on that council?
Okay.
They
counsel people.
Yeah, says that between Memorial Day and Labor Day, Americans will eat 7 billion hot dogs. We already had this in an. If you watch
Old News,
I don't remember which one.
Old News.
Do you think Joey Chestnut is the main
Largest
councilman?
consumer?
He's
The president?
He's the president of the council. Yeah, because he's the guy who eats all of the
hot dogs.
And then what was the other guy's name?
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi. He's the co-president.
Yep. I'm sure that's how it goes.
Oh, Joe, you're done with your phone.
I am done.
It's
with
nice
my
to have
phone.
you back.
I'm glad to be here.
More than half Americans are expected to travel over Labor Day as well. A lot of travel going on. For many, not all, for many, Labor Day weekend is the last chance to travel before work and school kick into high gear. School's already started around here. A recent study by The Vacationer found that more than 53% of people have Labor Day travel plans, and of that, 14% plan to fly and 35% will drive, which is only 49%. The Vacationer might want to take a look at their numbers.
Not half.
Bus,
It's not half. You mean.
train.
That's
50.
Well, the 53% is what they suggested.
53%.
Yeah, I don't know
Is there-
how. Maybe they're
are
planning
other
on.
people
Maybe there's a
walking?
small segment that they walk.
Yeah, horseback riding. Yeah.
Or horseback riding.
Horse, yeah.
Horse.
Walk toward
Little game
destination.
of horse. Okay, so that was Labor Day. A lot of good facts about
Yeah,
those,
that's
and I
fun.
think
That
what
was
people
very
are really,
interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting. In fact, I think that's gonna be a catalog that people say, let's mark that. Let's bookmark that.
Yep.
Because if we want to know more about Labor Day, let's say we're going to a party later or next year. We're going to dial back into the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast and say, let's get some of those facts. Do a quiz or just talk.
Just
cocktail
impress
talk.
impress my colleagues.
Yeah. So thank you for that. That was
Yeah.
good.
we do have several. This day in history as well. I don't know how long I was not privy to, although I'm not the executive producer.
Keep
that's
going.
probably why.
I don't know if anybody
How
was.
long is
What do you-
this?
What if we did
It
this?
really depends.
How much time
What
is
if we
left?
did this? What if we did that and sandwiched it in between
sure.
and then came back? But then you've done all that work on your day off. You did all that work.
What do you mean come back?
What if we don't
I
use
have no
it?
idea what's being talked
We'll
about
use
right
it.
now.
Okay.
We'll come
so
back. I mean,
we're going to take
How long-
How much time?
We got 11 minutes,
Okay.
Perfect.
How long is this?
Mine's not going to take that long.
Yeah.
Go
Do we
ahead.
want to
Go
do
ahead,
that
Joe.
quick?
and then I can do mine
Yeah.
last or
Well,
something.
then
'cause
there's
we
that.
might want to. I mean,
Do one right
some
now.
of the
Do
stuff-
yours, Joe. Give us
this is
the
segment.
weekly
This is-
roundup.
This is the segment, Wisconsin Heights Weekly.
Mm.
So it just started. School just started yesterday.
Yesterday.
So did
Yep.
this segment.
Yep. No, it started today. So it just started
School just started.
yesterday.
Okay, already we got that
I
down.
got from Scott that it was crazy, but it was a good time.
Well, because
Okay.
they were at
Just-
a new
yeah,
school.
new school,
The
and
new
he's
school
and he's
opened.
in charge of 3 more grades.
Ooh,
Tough. So there's that, but there wasn't that much on the calendar for school related stuff.
Yep.
let the kids ease into it.
But then sports wise,
Sports.
the soccer team has played 4 games.
Wow.
They are 1, 2, and 1.
Okay.
1, 2.
it's the boys right now, correct?
Correct.
The
Yep.
men's soccer
And
team.
then
Girls play in the spring.
The
Correct.
volleyball team is 0 and 2.
Tough.
So we're struggling
It's
sports
unusual
wise. Yep.
for.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're usually a
For the
powerhouse
girls.
I think sometimes they play some tougher.
teams to start off
tougher
with.
matches.
Let's give that to them.
I don't. Did you look at their schedule? Is that the truth, or maybe we're not that good this year? Who knows?
I don't know. I don't
We're on
pass
to- we're on
judgment
to-
until
we're
I
on to the
see
next
it.
game.
Yeah. Just one quick thing that Ryan VanRiper,
Yep.
who was our guest,
Yep.
his daughter plays on the volleyball team. His son plays on the football team.
Yep.
Boom.
Which
There you go.
silky
Football.
segue to the football team. They play their first game tonight at home, and nobody comes into Wisconsin Heights.
No. And comes
And
out a
beats
winner.
us.
Yeah.
Not just before
Never.
Labor Day.
No.
Nope.
Back when there was 11-man football, yes. A lot of teams came into Wisconsin Heights and they left
Victoria.
very
W.
sometimes very victorious, like by a lot of points.
When I was in school, my last 2 years, we were so bad that they would always, those are pass puns.
Those were
pass
8,
punt
9,
game.
and 10.
I was always so bad that everybody would fight to have Wisconsin Heights for their homecoming game. You know, we every game just about our last 3 or 4 games were their homecoming, so that they always were assured that they'd get a win.
You just hoped as Wisconsin Heights that you got another team that was one of the other teams that was around your level.
It's hard to find one.
And
My
you were
senior year.
True, yeah, but for like when we were in school, it was you tried to get Belleville.
Pulled that right back.
Yep.
Try to get Belleville. Sometimes you get Marshall, and it was like, great, we're gonna lose 50-0.
We did beat Lodi my junior year for our home.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yep.
Hey,
That was
good job.
Mike Powers.
that was
Nice, cracked your
77.
finger.
77.
1977.
77.
Yep.
No, actually, it was 76.
I don't talk. You know, there's a lot of people that brag about their football.
No, acumen
76
or their abilities.
because the new year hadn't
Oh,
started yet.
okay, my bad. Yep, 76.
Oh, yeah,
so it
true.
was the fall of 76. A lot
I'm
of people
just trying to
brag
make
about
sure that
it.
this
I
is
don't.
right.
I
I don't
don't.
know
I
about
don't
the
want anybody
disclaimer.
checking back with my football accolades. There aren't many.
Quarterback in high school.
So that ends Wisconsin Hikes
For this
weekly
weekend.
But we'll have
first
a lot more.
edition.
Yeah,
We'll have a lot more
when
coming
they're
up.
on the
Yes.
full
They'll be
swing.
full boom,
swing.
full
Mhm.
swing. But
So is that where we're gonna
22 minutes.
chip and chop?
I think John's got.
I don't know how
I
long
don't
John's
know how
gonna
long
be.
mine's going to take.
that's, maybe we should just
We're right on the cusp of.
end
We're
it
right on the
here
cusp
and then
here.
go to the next one,
Let's
and then
do
we'll
it.
have these two things.
Let's
What do you
do
think?
it. Yeah, let's come back and we'll get to John's
We'll want to stay.
well,
for this.
and Drew's.
Interessante.
Oh, we're going to do that first?
No,
Okay.
when we come back, we will.
Nice. All right.
We'll be back.
Here we go. We're back. So we did some really, really, really fun Labor Day facts. If you didn't get a nap in, you can do it then. Because I don't know if people, I saw John yawning a few times while that's part
Hudson
of
was
think that
all
happens
yawning
most
and
of the time,
burping.
and
I think it'd be
unfortunately.
good to go back and see how many times Hudson yawned and burped in that.
And
John,
I
you
was
want-
looking for some
get a
good
ding on
content.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Found
comment on how many you counted. Yawns or burps.
So
What
we're
do you
going to do this day in history, but
Oh,
today
great.
we're not doing Labor Day,
No,
which is Monday. We're going to do today.
Okay, we're back
Actually,
to today.
Friday.
We're all
Which
about
is the
living.
second.
We're all about living in the present.
Yep.
Don't live in the past. Don't
Yep.
live in the future. Right in the
I believe
present.
if you live in the past, you die in the past.
That's really. Are you sharing that microphone or is that all yours?
What?
I can just go here.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I think Dad's got.
You
it.
can
Dad
still
just
hear
needs
me.
a-
Dad, they're actually picking him up on that. On
Dad
those
just needs a
microphones.
mic somewhere in the room and you'll be picked up. Somewhere in the house, probably. So we're in 1192 here. Sultan, Saladin, and
Salahuddin.
no, that's not how you pronounce it.
Salah.
It's Saladin. Saladin. I guess I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but it's not Salahuddin. It's not. I know it's not that one.
Okay.
The Sultan
What's what?
and King Richard the Lionheart of England, they sign a treaty over Jerusalem
Why wouldn't that be
at
him
the
then?
end of the Third Crusade.
Why wouldn't that be him then?
Because that's not. You want to read that? That's not how you.
Can I
That's
see
not
it?
how you.
Well, maybe that's how he pronounced it.
see it. Which one is it?
Salahuddin.
Yeah.
There's no There's no word. There's no letters in
Yeah,
there.
but, yeah,
we?
but you,
Oh,
don't
way
have,
down there.
you don't have it. You don't have it written out as a pronunciation.
Sultan
Saladin.
Saladin.
You want to see it?
I am.
I don't need to see it. I know who I'm
Saladin.
talking about.
May have
Yo,
been a
dude.
different crusade you were thinking about.
I don't think so.
You think it's the third one?
Check us. That's again the beauty of the podcast. You can go back and you can check
BJ
it.
probably
see who's
knows.
right. Who?
BJ.
BJ probably
so
knows.
smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1666. We're fast forwarding a long way.
Yeah.
The Great Fire of London begins at 2 a.m. I'm not sure how they know what time it started.
That's almost like so far
You're
away.
probably looking at Big Ben.
That's almost like so far away in time that like, how does anybody care about that anymore? I mean, that was
I doubt they care, but it
400
happened today.
years ago. I mean, it
It's
happened.
a historical event.
It's this day in history. Yeah, I don't know. I
And
mean,
No,
it's-
I wasn't saying
Sounds
like
like somebody cares
people
about
in
it.
London
They made it into this day in
know-
history.
There's probably museums and
yeah, the Great Fire of
and
London.
different things like that.
Same
Tell us
thing.
a little bit about it and see if we can get Hudson to care about it.
Well, all I know about is that 80% of London is destroyed. They cared at that time.
80%?
80%.
Wow, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But was London as big as it is now? That's
I
the
doubt
thing.
it.
Because then it's
True,
like, okay,
true.
well, maybe it was only like 3 barns.
No.
No, London.
It was bigger than
So
that.
how many barns would have had to been burned down, Joe, for 80% of it to be?
Yeah, Joe.
Enough.
No.
The point being is
If there was
London's
3, it would be
always
like
been a major
2.5
city.
or
I mean,
something.
Correct.
for a long, long time.
That's correct.
So
That's true.
that was a major catastrophe.
Especially in 1666.
Yep.
It would have been huge, I would say.
Yeah.
Very large.
In 1752, the last Julian calendar day in Great Britain and British colonies, including America. So they synced their time to the Gregorian calendar, which is slightly different. Julian, I think, is the Julian Caesar,
Julius Caesar.
and
His best friends called him Julian.
King Julian. Yeah, put a case on. And to sync to the Gregorian calendar, 11 days were skipped.
I lost 11 days of my life.
We don't need those.
That's tough.
How do you skip 11 days? Just
That's good. We're good.
Especially back then when the average life expectancy was probably like 40 or something like that.
that's
I said, well,
40
can we have those 11 days back, please?
yeah.
When are we going to get those back?
You're not.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone forever.
But what they did was they just skipped, like, let's say from August
Time travel.
1st to August 12th. Right? I mean, they just skipped ahead in the calendar.
Well,
Yes, they
yeah,
just-
so technically the dates that they use, so it was the 2nd
Mm-hmm.
of September that they used. And so to get on track with the Gregorian calendar,
You know,
they skipped 11 days until it, so I don't know if on that day, they're like, you know, like when you do daylight savings time. So if at night they're like, well, it's not the 2nd anymore, and it's not the 3rd, it's the 14th.
or the fourth.
Don't try.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Let
what I
them do
was
the
gonna say.
math.
Yeah, let them.
I was gonna say you could
No.
easily do it nowadays. You could just be like, oh, today's the what would it be, the 13th?
No,
Today's the
tomorrow.
12th? What are you talking about?
No,
If you skip
11
ahead,
days,
you skipped
yeah.
11 days.
I mean, you could do it nowadays. You could just say, yeah, I'm living on by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I
You
mean,
could
in
just
your
say,
own
I'm
world,
skipping 11 days. Yeah.
why couldn't you do it back then? What's so easily to do about it? I mean, I think that it would be
I'm just
much
saying
more
that it's-
disastrous today if you did it than back then.
Maybe. How disastrous do you think it
You know, we
would
talk
be?
about dad's
They
rabbit
just say,
trails.
Merry Christmas. And that person
It's
is
the 12th.
way
Yeah, but
ahead.
what if those people started going with you and you got yourself a group of people that
Then
were
you're
like,
not doing
hey,
it by yourself anymore.
Yeah, we talk about rabbit trails with dad, and
I'm
I don't
lost.
think there's any
why are you
reason we-
lost?
I don't want to go back
No.
and try to figure out
Go
where
ahead,
I'm at. I
Drew.
just want to go
Go ahead.
forward.
All
I
right.
feel like I'm in
Do you
want to
go forward 11 days?
So I'm
We
just
could
going to
go-
leave it.
We could go forward 11 days.
I don't know. There may have been some good material there that we could have kept finding
That's
out.
true.
Maybe.
17.
Untapped resource.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe. In 1789, the U.S. Treasury Department was established by Congress. U.S. Treasury Department established.
Too bad.
Right after that, not really, but in 1798, the first bank robbery in the U.S. happened. The Bank of Pennsylvania, so it's a very large bank, is covering the entire state.
Mm-hmm.
It was robbed of $162,000, almost 163, at Carpenter's Hall. So I don't know if the bank was at a big building and it was just in Carpenter's Hall.
What year was that again?
1798.
1798. Just think what $100,000
Yeah,
would be.
I think that'd be
62
millions
days.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Those robbers lived very high on the hog for probably their
Did
entire
they
lives.
escape?
Huh?
Did they escape fully or did they get caught?
Isn't that
was
how
that when they
a robbery
decided?
is?
Was
Isn't that-
It's still a cold case.
Or did they?
Still looking into it.
Isn't that what a robbery is? Like, if it makes it into the books, then it means it was successful.
I don't know. I mean, there's attempted robberies.
But I
and
feel
then
like that
there's-
would have been.
Is that the
would have been
reason
said.
now that they
There's
have guards
distinguishing
at
word there
at
banks?
At banks. They're like, hey, we got a bank here. And people were coming in and out and they didn't have anybody, they just had money on the tables. And then these guys showed up, stole it. And they said, we had no idea that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
We thought we were dealing with honest people here. And then now they've got
I wonder what
armed
they
guards.
used. What kind of weapons they used to hold the bank up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need any. Because the money was just sitting there around the table.
They
Probably
walked
had to
away with
threaten them somehow, either with fists or
$162,000.
knives or
Just let it happen.
Probably his.
crossbows or something
Yeah.
like that.
Wow.
Yeah. They had guns back. They had guns back then.
Musket.
They had guns back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Don't make me shoot one of you and then have to reload for a minute and a half.
Yeah, but the only thing is that everybody else in there was doing the same thing. They had the same capabilities. So you shoot one person with your one shot, and that person's only got one shot as well. So it's not like somebody's got an
So the
unfair
person
advantage.
got shot also has a musket?
No, he's just saying that,
I'm saying that it's
there
like
was
you're-
there's
it's
no
an equal playing
advantage.
field. It's an equal playing field there.
Yeah,
I know,
everybody's
I'm
got the
just
same
saying
weapon.
that if the guy goes in there and shoots somebody with a musket, to do anything else, shoot another person or have a scene with the cops, he's got to take a minute and a half to reload.
True.
So just wait here while I reload. Then I'll be back to threatening you guys.
You know what they said when they called the cops?
I don't, but I think you're gonna tell us.
Shot fired, not shots fired.
Oh,
Single
wow.
shot
Yeah.
fired.
That's good stuff there. 100 years later, and a really great tie-in to a single shot. 1898, machine gun was first used in battle.
That's
So
not
that's
single
got
shot.
multiple shots coming out of it.
It's true.
Machine gun. All right. 1901. Teddy Roosevelt advises to speak softly and carry a big stick or a machine gun.
I speak softly and carry a machine gun.
Yep. 1905. New Zealand beats Australia 14-3 in cold, wet conditions in the first international rugby union match between the two countries on New Zealand soil. The reason I put this in here, you know why? We've watched a little rugby on TV from time to time, and part of the coverage that you watch is panning to the sideline where people are getting treated because there's injuries, tons and tons of injuries. It's just part of the game. They just get banged, they take them off on the stretcher, and these guys I think are legitimately hurt.
You know, they're not soccer players,
Correct.
or NBA players, or
Correct. Yeah, correct. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of that we've watched a little bit of rugby, and that's part of the coverage. They'll for like 5 seconds, which is kind of a long time. They'll go to the sideline, and somebody's getting a knee wrapped or his fingers.
I'd like to see Drew in rugby.
No. Those guys are big. Some of those guys are.
Drew'd be one of those guys that's at the bottom, locking shoulders and stuff, and scrumming for the ball.
Yeah.
Low
I mean, if I was on the field, I'd
Yeah.
have to because I think all of them are part of that stuff too. But yeah, because I'm
Nice.
small and low to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
definitely would be real. I don't even know all of the positions. I don't even know any of the positions.
Whatever that position is, that's what you.
That would be the one I'd have. Yep. 1930, the first nonstop airline flight from Europe to U.S. 37 hours.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Especially when you're like, it's nonstop, so this hasn't been done before. And sometimes you can get nervous on airplanes as it is. And then on top of that, you're flying over a huge ocean and you're just hoping this
That'd be a lot of fuel.
works kind of thing. So it's like 37 hours. It's one thing to do for like 6 or 7 hours.
Oh, and no TV.
What
Well,
are you doing
there
as a
reading.
pilot?
Yeah.
Just 37 hours. Here we go.
Well, you're just white knuckling it.
What
probably.
year was that?
Or maybe they're just
1930.
tougher.
They have bathrooms on there? Had to.
Don't know.
Maybe
Not
Amelia
everybody
Earhart
has
knows.
a small. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have something for people, I would think.
37 hours.
How about you? 37
Yeah,
hours.
that'd
37
be-
hours with you.
That would be 37 trips to the bathroom.
Oh, at
maybe.
least. So hopefully you don't think
They had
about
to
it.
have had a bathroom.
Hopefully you don't
Had-
think about
yeah.
it anymore than
Dad,
37
did you use the
times.
bathroom
They would've
before
got-
we
if
left? You
Dad
have to
was the
hold it for
pilot.
37
Yeah.
hours.
If Dad was the pilot, they would have gotten up there and he said,
think I may have been
I
able
gotta
to do
stop.
that.
Anybody got to use the bathroom? He would
You
have
may
asked.
have,
He would have stopped. Todd, this was supposed to be nonstop. Well, I got to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Year later, 1931, Bing Crosby makes his solo radio debut. Nice. I don't know what that means. Some of these facts, I get them, and I'm not really sure. There are some on there that I really don't understand. Like, they just kind of say it. It's like, I don't know the significance of that.
Well, Bing Crosby made his first radio debut. He was a huge, huge star.
Oh, is it like was it like one of his first?
I guess that first time he was ever on the radio, and I'm sure
Okay.
television. There wasn't
So
television.
you're talking about he was kind of a rising star. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was maybe like in the middle of his career or something like that.
No. I would,
How do you know how old he was when he died? Was he like in the late 1900s?
Bing Crosby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the thousands, right?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think he was in the 1980s
80s or something like that.
What do you got
Okay.
for time there?
About 15 minutes.
Left?
Yep.
How many of those you got left?
Oh, just a few here.
Okay, let's get through them.
1940, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park was dedicated.
Nice.
Only you can prevent forest fires, although they say 9 out of 10 is, so it's not 100% true, but 1945, VJ Day, formal surrender of Japan aboard the USS Missouri marks the end of World War II. Yep. 1962, St. Louis first baseman Stan Musial's record. I'll try that again. 1962, St. Louis first baseman Stan Musial's records. Oh, they don't write these very well. Stan Musial records his 3,516th hit
Wow.
in a Cards 4-3 loss versus the New York Mets.
Tough.
Overtakes Tris Speaker into second place behind Ty Cobb on the all-time hit list.
Wow.
Tris has got to be short for like Tristan, right?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe something like that. Or maybe it's just a weird nickname.
Mm-hmm. It's just a Nick.
Yeah, it's just a nick. 1969, the first automatic teller machine, ATM, in the United States is installed in Rockville Center, New York. I didn't know they were that old. 1969, ATMs. Okay. Well, we got a couple fun holidays, but again, I don't know how long his is going to run. Let's run through it real
Go
quick
for
here.
it. We don't care.
Today is Bring Your Manners to Work Day. That's why I didn't go to work today, because I just knew I was going to bring my manners.
That seems like that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you should always have your manners.
Yes.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Today I remember bringing
Because
my
you're a
manners.
human
We
being.
can get one day.
Just a reminder.
You only have to go to work one day with your manners. That's it. That's such a low bar.
Yeah.
That's why those making those up are just like
Yeah, they're just made up. That's a fake holiday. That's a fake brother name. When you're bringing your manners to work today, you can also wear your college colors. College Colors Day.
look at me.
Well, that's not your college.
That's not
but,
your college.
Well, what if I adopted it as mine?
Although you went to 3 different colleges.
A lot of different colors to wear.
There's
That's
only
what he's
3
saying.
there. Platteville,
Went to 4.
Madison.
Stevens Point.
Oh,
True.
right. True.
That counts, I guess.
Today is also National Lazy Moms Day. I thought it was every day. Reminder to lend a hand and give your mom a much-deserved break.
There
So
you
we
go.
should do that today.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I didn't even know we were supposed to do
I
that.
do
but we
that
should.
every day.
That's true. You bring it every day, just like your manners.
Yep.
And it's also Pierce Your Ears Day today. Nope. So go out and get yourself a pierced ear, Joe.
I'll stick away
We
from
should have
that
done it
one.
on the show.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would've been
that
cool.
would've
I think people will
tough.
enjoyed that.
You honestly, that might have been a good video.
Just a rusty nail.
But guess what? I'm
and-
not willing to do that.
That happened. That happened at school one time. Not at school. It didn't happen on the school premises. But I remember a kid that I went to school with, Tyler Swenson. He came, and I don't know if it was his sister that did it or what, but it was a hack job, and it was not good. He had this just, I don't even think it had a stud on the end or whatever. It was just, or post. Yeah, he did. That's just, I don't know that much about ear piercing, but anyway.
That didn't look right.
That
huh?
wasn't good. It was just this big hole in his ear.
tough.
It's off.
That's off. Well, we lost battery in one of our one of our cameras. I don't know how the other one's doing.
That's
I
too
guess
bad.
I'll have
That's
to go
perfect
check.
timing though, because we were done.
Yeah.
Well,
let's
but I had a really important
let's
thing.
We can do
I'll
it
be
right
back
after supper
here.
or something.
I'm gonna check. So we had a technical difficulty with one of our cameras. It turned off on us. We couldn't. Well, I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, we're back. We're not exactly sure where we stopped. We could have looked back, but we decided we're going to go forward. Drew did this day in history, and he also did special holidays or fun holidays.
Yeah, and I think that's where we kind of left off. I think there was Joe was talking a little bit about his high school mate, Tyler Swenson,
Yep.
who tried getting his ear pierced.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about Pierce Your Ears Day,
Yeah.
and then it was a hack job.
Yep.
So,
Probably hurt pretty bad.
and I think that's when John said, "Oh,
I pointed at
camera
the
went."
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So-
but here's the thing. Maybe we want to get to that, or maybe that was enough of a story.
I know we want to get to something.
Well, Dad certainly wants to
No,
get to himself.
this is why. No, it has nothing to do with that.
I
It has
said I was
everything
gonna
to do
start
with
it,
the
and you
success.
said,
It has everything to
gonna
do
go.
with the success of our podcast. Because here's what I was thinking. It would have been a perfect opportunity. See, I know these things.
Oh, boy.
Because I've been around the block. This is my first rodeo. If you would have said this, listen, we had some technical difficulties, and the reason we did, and speak to the people and say, the reason we had technical difficulties is we're a little bit of a low budget podcast right now. But you can do something about that
That's true.
by subscribing,
Donating a
by
couple
hitting
$1,000.
by hitting a like, and causing our podcast to grow so that we can do what we were talking about, like getting Joe over there with his own microphone.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
you can do that.
You, the people, have the power.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, it wasn't about me. It's never about me.
But
It's
you-
about the
but-
original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Yeah.
but it helps if
it
it
is.
affects you though. In the
But
end.
Dad,
So now we've become
Okay, so it's a residual.
now we've become PBS.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a telephone begging people.
What about if we did? What if we had a live? We could have it over at Handlebar Performance. We could have a live podcast and have people drop off their checks. Cal could be there, the radical podcaster.
You could be answering phones.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
no, you're not. I think
We saw Cal yesterday.
we sure
I
did.
saw him driving today down Reeve Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. We happened to see him out at his farm, and that was a
You guys were just out visiting.
yes, it was beautiful, beautiful day to do that.
Beautiful day to visit with him.
Anyway, the point is people can do something about the low budget things. We try our best, but we're
they don't
just
even
a,
have to-
we're just
they
a
don't have-
startup
I don't even
operator.
have to give money. It's
No,
just
no,
can
no.
you just like
No.
and subscribe? Maybe put a comment out there if you don't mind. It's
We're not-
easy to do.
We're not begging,
and we just
really.
we are, but we'd like to hear what people are thinking about it. We'd like to get some feedback. Otherwise, we're just doing this and we don't know what people like. Anyway, John had something about the happenings in Mazo.
Yeah.
A segment
Something
that
that's
he's
a
gonna
big
start
deal.
up here.
Dad, you can go ahead.
Something that's a big deal in our little town here. It's
Big deals.
It affects a lot of people.
And so, are you going to have that Ernest T.
Sure.
bass like right here?
What's that?
News site-wise.
News from Mazo Sitewise.
Sure. Great.
Is that okay?
Yep. Go for it.
So I have a moped, and that's my main
Mode of transportation.
mode of transportation around Mazo because I work from home full time. And so we came up with looking around because I like people watching. And also
Well, we didn't come up with it. I mean, you can just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just in
we
general.
came up
You
with
just
this.
decided to look
We
around.
came up with it. Well, yep. Exactly. When we came up with this. So this was throughout the last week. And like you said, now we're on Sunday here because of the technical
Yeah.
difficulties.
Mhm.
So some of this is not necessarily old news. I think it's still going to be good. But one thing that I noticed around town is I looked over at the elementary school. And on Thursday was the first day of school, I believe. And that was the first time that there hasn't been
Oh wow.
parked vehicles along the road. So that would be John Street,
Ann
Ann
Street and
Street,
John
and
Street,
John
yeah.
Street.
Right.
The road
And that
right
first
in front
time,
of
and
the
I don't know how
school.
many years, I can't remember when that was elementary school was built, but it was also the high school. Not that there was necessarily cars there necessarily, but just that there's
Happenings going on
there.
there.
It's just quiet.
Voices
and I
of
drove
children
around.
and-
Yep.
Yep.
No bells ringing
Nope.
for recesses.
150 years probably, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first time in Meso's history.
Wow.
So that was a big happening. Not happening.
Do you think the people right down there are kind of enjoying the quiet, or would they miss the sound of bells? And would it have become such a common thing that they just, there's kind of an excitement, there's kind of there's an aliveness to kids and stuff like that. I don't know.
I would think that it's maybe would have been taken differently if the building would have been purchased by different people. If there was kind of this schools, you would kind of think of a safer area, a nicer area, at least of a smaller town.
Mm-hmm.
And if you all of a sudden had something else that you wouldn't necessarily want down there, that's a different kind of loud.
True. Yeah.
To know that it's purchased by, I believe, a church, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice that it's going to be a place
It's in good
kind
hands.
of like, it's in good hands. So the quiet might be different, but maybe it's not so much of
People
a
who are
bad.
accustomed to having it be a school, quiet, kind of safe place aren't going to have it be not so much a safe place.
Well, and I'm sure the people that live in the old church right next to it.
Oh, yeah,
probably
the old
enjoying
Methodist
that.
church, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Probably enjoying that. I think it's quieter.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
not as
A lot of
many
churchy
kids
opportunities
around,
for
so.
them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
What else did you see site-wise?
So the road out to Y is now the road work that was done on the road and the bridge is now done. There was a little detour around town for a while, a few months. That's now you can take a left out. Is that
Hudson Street to
State
Y, or
Is
State
that
Street.
State
Yep.
Street? Yep.
You
Turns
couldn't-
into Highway Y.
You couldn't
which
go
goes
out there a while
Well,
ago?
you couldn't get. There was a small area where it's completely closed off. That was by where the
Oh, right by the bed and breakfast
bed and
is?
breakfast,
Yeah,
yep.
I do know what you're talking
and
about
so
now.
that's now open.
Okay.
I think there was a sign that said, I believe, that open to through traffic,
Or local,
Local
or
traffic,
local
not
traffic,
through
or through
traffic,
traffic,
something like
something
that, which I've never completely understood because, sometimes when I'm not locals, I just say, well, I'm
Going through.
going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what they're thinking is.
They don't
is
want you to
They
do
don't
that.
want.
If
They want you to take the
live-
detour.
You need to live
Right.
in that area for
Right. Yep.
because they want to reduce the amount of
Local.
traffic.
Exactly.
Okay.
What else did you
But
see?
it says not open. I've seen those signs with it says not the local part, but it just says not open to through traffic, and that sign itself has always confused me a little bit because I was like, well, anybody's going through,
Yeah.
so how do you get in here?
But you're not local. So if you're not local, you
Well,
can't.
That's
kinda
why
really
that's why
that,
I
yeah.
got rid of that part because
there you go.
I've seen signs where it just says not open to through traffic. That's
Okay.
all it says.
Okay. What else do you see, Johnny?
And then, we've all known that businesses downtown have not always done the best. And I'm not suggesting that this is a good sign. Me driving around and seeing this is necessarily a good thing. But 1855, you interviewed
Scott Johannick. Yeah. Mhm.
and it looks like it's busy, like busy for a coffee shop. And that's good to see. We've had a hard time maintaining
Small businesses down there. Yeah.
And so I have seen early in the morning, I have gone down for coffee or hot chocolate or something like that in the earlier morning and seen that it's busy around that time, but it's good to see that it's busier throughout their time. So that's nice.
What was the
Support local.
What was the big news though that you had? I thought you had some.
You're rushing me, but
I thought
I'm
that's what it was all
saving the
about.
best for the last.
Okay, I
But
thought
He,
that's
he
what
thought
you're
that this was
being-
going to be a rapid
you're being-
fire
Yeah,
session.
no, yeah.
what
we
I
had
thought
time,
it
I
was is
thought.
I thought that was the only thing you had.
No,
sorry,
no.
and that's not.
I got
that
a big
wasn't
one.
a shot.
I got a big one.
We had
This is-
talked about that, and then
Yep.
that is big
Does anybody
news.
have anything more to say about that? I
You're
mean,
being
before we cut
dad,
that off.
Hudson. You're being
Yeah.
dad right now.
No, I'm not.
Did anybody have anything to say about that? To
Well,
add
there's
or-
a
John
tap house
went
that's-
like this. John said, and it's good that's being busy. Was that the last one you had? That's literally how much time you gave him. Usually when
I
somebody
didn't say that. Is that all you had? I just said. He had told us about something that had happened. That's
I
big.
didn't tell you about it. I told
I know
you there
you
was
did.
something
You
I was going
told
to tell
us
you
that.
about.
Okay.
Yep.
You told us that there was something that happened,
Yep.
and we all saw that it happened,
Mhm.
Well, don't
but we
include
didn't
me in
know
that.
why it happened.
Mhm.
And you had kind of teased that,
Yep.
and so I thought that was what that was the thing you were just that was the one thing, and that's not a problem. I just didn't know if you had forgotten.
So that second item,
no
was
news
throwing
around
you
town
off.
means there's probably going to be more than one.
Exactly.
So
Sure.
News as in
is
plural.
to look around and
He didn't say new around town.
Yeah, new.
yeah.
So there's
new.
so there's a tap house that's going up across the street. I don't know when that's going to be open. I think they were waiting on like their coolers or something, which were like 16 weeks because of the supply chain. They were back ordered. Yes, exactly. And then there's like a dog grooming and a pet something else right next door. I mean, that's going on. And they've got the apothecary mercantile thing right kitty corner on Hudson, right at the corner of the T of Hudson Street and Broadhead,
right by the
flagpole. Yep. So anyway, yeah, there's a guy that's getting into voiceover he's going to retire from teaching in school, Madison. He's met with me a couple of times, and he was asking me questions about if they had a plan for downtown, or if it's just kind of happening. And I said, I think it's just kind of happening. I know Scott kind of has a mindset of what he'd like to see down there, which is great. But I don't think the village of Mazo has a downtown restoration plan at this point. But that might be something we would want to come up with on our podcast and just present that to the town council.
A blueprint, maybe.
Blueprint
Nice.
for the future.
They hold us in really high regard.
I would say though that in the past there was no plan. It seems like there's a better plan.
Well, Scott talked
not
about
even
there
if
being
it's
a
not
plan.
even in like in written or even been talked about.
What was his plan?
better
What was
plan.
in his mind? He had a little catchphrase. He didn't say it was anybody's plan except for his. What was that? Remember?
Ooh.
tough.
Watch the tape.
Yeah.
Well, he said that they needed that 1855 was going to be kind of the living room of Mazo, and that's kind of what it's a nice feel. You go in there, you can sit down.
It does seem like people are taking advantage of that. I
The-
mean, you did
it-
on Saturday.
It's
with-
not the revival of Mazo. It was something kind of along those lines, kind of
It was catchy. I wish I would have
Yeah.
remembered it because I asked him, "Is that something that?"
Mazo movement.
Yeah, Mazo.
The Mazo movement.
Yeah, the
There
Mazo
you go.
movement. But
It'll come to us.
Gotcha, Scott.
Mazo on the move.
No, it was the Mazo movement. That's what he said.
all these
But
inside
you
jokes.
are right, though. You are right, though, that for a long time with downtown Mazo, it's basically kind of just been, we'll put a store up over here.
Yeah.
And then it's come and gone so quickly. And then
We'll
the
do it,
rest
yeah.
of them, the rest of them have been just shells, They've just been business fronts, nothing in there. But now it sounds like, we're doing this.
Did you hear-
then we're doing this.
Did you hear Dad's idea? He said that at some point he'd like to maybe rent out one of those places and have the podcast down there.
Oh.
But
People
I don't
could come
know
and
how,
watch
yeah,
them
I
if
don't
they
know
wanted
how
to.
loud that would
Bunch
be.
of
though.
live
I
studio.
don't know how loud that would be though with so much
Well,
traffic.
I mean, it'd just be as
going
loud as we
down
needed
there.
it to talk. It's just like, what do you mean? Like,
You
you
just
just
speak-
I'm talking
I just
about
speak into the microphone.
people
the
driving and
driving.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
It'd be part of the bustling downtown.
True.
We would be part of it.
We would be.
We would be not only part of it, but we would be leading
I feel
the
like
Mazo movement along with Scott.
when we're doing our podcast, I think that Mazo would go quiet because they're either there or they're tuning in.
There'd be two reasons
Yeah,
they do it:
uh-huh.
when the Packers play and when our podcast.
the
is
only
going
show
on.
in town. So if the coffee house, if let's say we did rent one of those places down there for the podcast, and
Not
the coffee house is the living room, what would ours be?
Kitchen,
The foyer?
because we're bringing the heat.
No, it's the man cave. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. We'd have to think about that.
We'd have to think about that.
Those are things
The
that
theater.
we take
the home
ideas, too.
theater.
What's that?
We take ideas or suggestions.
yeah,
of what
I mean,
the
throw them
ideas
out.
you'd have,
We've got
We got time.
We've got lots of people that watch and want to feedback about lots of things.
We got 15 minutes left.
Perfect.
Easy
Okay, let's
money,
go. 'Cause
Van
I
Gogh.
got-
So
I
the big
got a
one,
bunch
Yeah,
of
we
stuff.
got Dad's got stuff. And
The
we
big
know
one
he'll be
is
long-winded.
so I believe it was Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday this last week, the Dollar General was completely closed. And they said opening soon on the door. And there was kind of some different thoughts going on the Facebook page called What's Happening in Mazomania. Some people thought that it was because of some manager leaving, a lack of employees, some other things.
Maybe some supply chain issues, not getting enough stuff.
Yeah. And so I went straight to the source, and I went in when it was open on Friday, and talked to the lady up at the front counter and asked why it was closed.
Demanded an answer.
Demanded an answer. Yeah. And
Listen here.
Investigative reporter.
Exactly.
John
Yeah.
Barsas
On the
from
spot.
the original Father-Son podcast on his moped.
And she said that they had gotten a huge order. They got a huge order, and that there was also orders that were still not put on the shelves, and they didn't want to have. They wanted to get them on the shelves, and then they also were. There was so much that it was taking up different aisles.
Wow.
And there was a concern, at least on her part, that there'd be some sort of OSHA thing.
Interesting.
And so
Good
they
for
didn't.
them.
They wanted to say. They said, "Well, she basically said, do you want it? Do you want it closed? Do you want to be tripping over things, or do you want it to be closed and have everything put things so you can get to things, kind of thing?" So
He said, "Listen, I'm not in charge of DG. That's
No,
not
no,
that's
she
my
wasn't in my-
decision."
They
she
also
wasn't
have
in
problems.
my
They always
decision.
have problems with hiring too, because they got a whole bunch of signs on
Yeah.
the hiring now. But here's the funny thing.
But I want to be clear, the specific reason.
okay.
Because there's a whole lot of comments going on what's happening in Mazo,
Okay.
and
Right
I want to
here.
tell you
Dispel
why.
those.
At least according to the lady,
It's a scoop.
that it was closed because they had gotten a very large order of supplies.
Their ship
and
came
they,
in,
They
is
didn't
what
want
you're
it to be
saying.
taking up all the aisles and having that be a problem. And supposedly you just can't have it according to OSHA rules. And so that's why they closed down. Get those things out of the way so that then they can have the people come back.
But she's a DG spokesperson, so
She is, and
that's her
she's
spin.
company
That was
line.
her
That's a
spin.
company
She
line.
she might not have known she was talking to the media, because
That's
that's
true.
kind of what we
Wow.
are.
Undercover.
And you were on your moped. She probably
Yep.
let down
Yeah.
her
She let down her guard.
Oh,
And
here's
that's
just
what
a
I do.
normal guy.
Yep. She just
Yep.
speaking.
Little does she know.
Speaking. She didn't know it was on the record.
Do you think also part of that is with that stuff being in the middle of the aisles and such, that they weren't on the shelves? Maybe they hadn't been put into the system. People could steal them fairly easily. It's hard to keep track of certain
I don't know.
things.
I
That's
really
a
want to make
big
sure I
thing
stick
at
to the
DG,
facts.
yeah.
Because this is important.
This
too.
isn't
I just
editorial.
was
This is
asking.
not editorial.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is an
news.
opinion.
I guess
This is not-
nobody wants to
I don't
ask
want to
questions.
hypothesize like the people did on what's happening in Mazo. I want to get the facts straight.
Boom.
I'm not putting them under the bus. I'm just saying I went right to the source.
Right, John, and that's what we're going to do.
John's
on the
like
podcast.
John's Marshall Matt Dillon. He went right.
We do
right into the flames.
When we do what's happening site wise in Mazo,
Yeah.
we're going to do the behind. We're going to dig deeper.
Yep.
Is somebody
Digging
using
deeper.
that? Digging deeper.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
we
they're
won't
going to
use
see
that.
it site wise and
Right.
say, put that kind of disclosure thing
Right.
like we do with
Right.
like
This is just
Mom
what we
does.
see.
Disclaimer. Thank you.
Yep.
Disclaimer.
We're
Or
not
I'm going
gonna
to
disclose
I'm going to
that.
get to the source, and I'm not going to say I know this for sure.
This is just
unless
what you
I know
saw.
this for
Yep,
sure.
This is through your
Here's
lens.
the funny thing, though. I went there multiple times, and
While it was
when I
closed?
saw, when I saw a car or two in there,
Mm-hmm.
there was always somebody pulling up and walking up to check. So I'd stay there.
Oh.
And then it was like people were driving around waiting for the Dollar General to open, because 2 or 3 other cars would come in, and I would see that they were frustrated because it wasn't open, so they'd drive out. All of us would drive out together. That happened several times where I saw, oh, there's cars here.
But
They
it may
must
have
be
looked
open.
like you were just being a patron of the
Exactly.
store and you were
Well,
leaving, and those
yep.
people said,
That'd
"Oh,
be
it's
like
open."
maybe you were
Exactly.
a higher up, and they were like,
Yep.
"This guy's coming to open it up."
We're just a bunch of Dollar General sheep. is
If
what
you
we
go
were.
to, I mean, if you're around town with the Dollar General, that hasn't been, it's been around for 10 years now.
less.
6, maybe 5,
Okay.
6 years.
Yeah, probably.
So, I mean, we didn't know
Time
what
flies
life,
when you're
we
having
didn't know
fun,
what,
though, John.
yeah, we didn't know what life was like with
Without
it
it,
because we
yeah.
didn't have it.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you go around basically any time of the day, there's at least 5 cars
Yeah.
in that parking lot.
busy.
So people were lost, and that's why it was a big story. I mean, that's
Yep.
bigger than
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry.
That was
That's why we
probably
broke
Just knocked that out.
that was probably the first one,
Yep.
the biggest story.
Yep.
And then the school closed, I just thought was a interesting thing because Mazo has not been quiet down there for, years, decades.
Before you start, what do we got
So,
there? Do we have plenty
We've
of
got
time?
20 minutes.
We have-
Sorry,
We're at 20 minutes.
You
Okay.
got 10.
We got plenty of time.
I'm done
for
with
you.
what's happening
Great.
in Mazo.
And
kind
there's-
of,
That was really
thing.
good, and
That
I
was-
appreciate that, and I
thank you.
appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate
Yeah.
you doing
Yeah,
the
and we'll
heights
keep that
thing.
up.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
Right here.
Site-wise. Okay, so I won't take long, but if you'll just bear with me, I've just got a few things to say right here at the end. I want to. We don't want to talk about it now, but our podcast is going to be going in a little bit of a different direction. We're going to kind of split off. We kind of have a voiceover local thing going on right now, and we're going to split those two things off, and we'll explain, and you'll be able to see.
We'll make
this.
a video of it by itself, explaining what's going to happen, and we'll post that at some point here in the next week, maybe 2 weeks. So there you have it.
So I just want to thank Ryan VanRiper for showing up, gave us these shirts.
Yeah, blue one.
We've got a link below because he's happy to hear from you if you need any kind of cleaning of your upholstery outside your house, grout, tile, decking, carpet. Things like that. Carpet.
Give him a call.
That's 608-516-4699.
Because he won't answer it while he's working because he talked about it, and you'll see that in there in the interview because he likes to make sure his mind is on you and that after work he writes it down, he gets you in his calendar, he remembers it in his mind because if he's driving, he's doing other things, he's sharing his mind. He wants to do well at servicing you, the customer.
And he was a guest, our first guest, and he received this wonderful coupon from the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast to go to our store, our prize table. And there's a picture of it right there, Damon. Put the picture of it. There's not a whole lot on that. There were 3 Mountain Dews, and Ryan took one of those, and we showed a picture of that. And there's some personal items of ours. Sorry, we don't have that big of a table. But because the Dollar General is now open, I'm going to be going shopping. So the next guest, and even past guests, William can't because he's in training. But BJ could come over. Cal could come over. Scott could come over.
Both Scott.
Scott Moore.
Scott.
They could come over and they can grab this because you've been a guest, and we'll let you pick out a thing on our table. We'll take a picture of you and post it because you've been a guest. And other people that we ask to be guests, because I have a list of people I'm going to be calling around Mazo. So be prepared.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's all we need to talk about, but I want to thank Deshaun, who hasn't appeared on our podcast, for letting me wear his boots.
Those boots were made
vicariously.
For podcasting in.
And that's, I think, all I've got.
Wow.
Unless somebody has some comments or things like that.
I think that's the shortest.
2 minutes.
I think that's the first time you've come through on your promise of being short.
I'll keep trying.
I know it. Anything else from us over here?
Nope.
Well, thank you for sticking.
Thanks for the day in history and stuff like that, too.
Labor Day facts. Yeah. I think I put some people to sleep with those Labor Day facts.
Maybe some people do that for ASMR. They listen to our podcast as they're going to bed. Perfect. Drew's talking now, and we can go to sleep.
Yeah, true. It's
possible.
It's a quick little, sometimes I go for 20, 25 minutes. Don't even have to set an alarm. When my voice stops, boom, you wake up.
You're up.
Yep. Nice. Well, thanks for sticking through the technical difficulties. And we made it through 23 episodes. That's 23, John. What do we call that? The Jordan
year.
That's why we're
Oh,
that's
wow.
why we're doing
Nice.
that.
Perfect.
My old college jersey.
So thank you for joining us, and we will see you all on the next one. Are you dying to see more content like that? Check out the video over here or subscribe over here. Thanks.